Are you willing to sacrifice your life?
The fuck was that, Ken?
Joey Fats Radio, row 1, seat 1.
I've been loving every second. I'm not rooting for injuries openly, but
I just pretended that was Brian Deegan.
I'm so fucking pumped. I'll be like, yeah, bitch, fuck
I will do that.
I'm gonna find him on LinkedIn and be like, "Did you punch a kid in the face? Tell me the truth."
All right, Sean brought his A game tonight. All right, okay, I like it. I like where this is going. And I don't want to put this as like a thing. Like he wasn't a bad guy, as far as
Who
we
said
know.
he was a bad guy?
I don't know, but I feel like we're painting him in this light that he was like this bad guy, and I don't want to do that. To this day, I hope you hear this. Fuck you. But rules are rules, okay? Stupid rule, but it was a rule. If you were a Crip and you were cooling in the cut, what do the Bloods do? Are they booling in the butt? Yep. Also, we are extremely juvenile, and yeah, whatever. Fuck you. All right.
I've used it. I admit it. You fucking smashed me in the ass, you dumb fuck.
All right. Here we go. I think we should be good on the audio. I don't think the intro came through on Mixer, but I think it should have come through on Facebook. So, sorry everybody for the delay, for the delayed start. Technical difficulties here tonight. We had a camera go dead and some things updated and everything changed, which, you know, is a row 1, seat 1 tradition.
It's not funny.
It's not, but it's the truth, and it is what it be. So we're
A
coming.
lot of people joined in the start. Everyone's like, "Wonder what Joey's gonna say. Wonder why that is."
Couple people go. We good on audio?
Yeah, we're good on audio.
All right, good. Yeah, good. Goddamn great. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Joey Fats Radio, row 1, seat 1, live on the one, the only, the New Bedford Guide on this final Tuesday of January.
You people are assholes.
I
Because all of a sudden, like, usually we start the show, there's like a certain number that usually joins into the show. It was an exceedingly high number that was on the show.
Listen, I'm. You know what? I'm not surprised. I'm here for it. And like Eminem said at the end of 8 Mile, I'm still going to be standing here screaming, fuck the free world. In this case, fuck the Patriots. So you can all suck my ass. We'll get into the championship weekend that was. We'll give you a slight preview of the NFL. Outbound seems a little low. Okay, hold up. Let me see. I can maybe fix that. How's that? Does that sound a little bit better right there? Maybe that's a little better. Jesus Christ, that is like way too high in my ears, but that's all right. I can fix that. Let me know if that sounds better, Jay. But we'll get into everything that was in the week from the championship weekend. We'll get into the breaking news that just broke a couple of hours ago that Bill Belichick is not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Fucking
which is just absolutely asinine.
way too loud. Way too loud in my ears.
Absolutely asinine. Sorry, I'm playing with the volume over here. So if it's a little bit too loud, let me know.
No, it's perfect for me now. But yeah, that is insanity. I can't wait from the fallout for that. I feel like there's so much outrage over that's going to become its own thing for the next 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl. Like, that's going to be its own story.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be – I mean, listen, the NFL never sleeps, right? There's always drama of some sort. There's always something to be done, something to be talked about.
So, in the last 24 hours, Belichick, not a Hall of Famer. Shedeur Sanders, Pro Bowl quarterback. What the fuck are we talking about here?
Welcome to 2026, baby. This is how it goes. 774-992-8702 is the number. For you to get your thoughts in tonight. I'm sure plenty of you are going to have plenty to say, so feel free to fire away and hammer that phone line, 774-992-8702. Before we get started, big shout-out to our sponsor, the Village Sweet Shop, 300 Elm Street, Paydara, Mass, or in the corner of Bridge and Elm. For all of your chocolate candy needs, Valentine's Day is coming up. Make sure you go grab a gift basket, get some stuff for those that are closest to you, to your loved ones, and go check out everything they got down there.
Jesus, it's Valentine's Day.
They do have quite the selection, so make sure you tell them we sent you. 300 Elm Street, right on the corner of Bridge and Elm in Paydara, Mass, South Dartmouth. You all know where the Village is. Go check it out. Village Sweet Shop. Sean, before we get into the Broncos and the Patriots and the Seahawks and the Rams, let's just touch on this Bill Belichick thing because
breaking in the last 2 hours.
Yeah, I don't think we need to spend a shit ton of time on it, to be quite honest.
It's still so fresh.
Well, not only that, but it is absolutely fucking asinine.
Isn't it, though?
And when I saw this news come up, just like when I saw the Bo Nix broken ankle news, I thought somebody got hacked. I thought this was bullshit. I'm sitting there going, there is no fucking way in any world that exists, in any of the millions of infinite parallel universes, that Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. And yet, here we are, Bill Belichick somehow does not secure 40 out of the 50 needed votes to get into the Hall of Fame on his first attempt.
Interesting.
This is fucking blowing my mind. And I know, like, a lot of people are throwing out their opinions. Well, this is what happens when you're an asshole to the media, this, that, and the other thing.
Who cares?
That's not supposed to count. And I'll remain consistent with this because I said the same thing about Terrell Owens.
Yes.
That's not supposed to count. The only thing that is supposed to count for the Hall, and I'm quoting the Hall of Fame voters, when they defended themselves with the Terrell Owens thing, we don't look at off the field stuff. We don't look at any of that stuff. We only look at what happens on the field. That's all the criteria we look at.
But this is all media people in all sports do this. Baseball does this too. Let's not look at Pete Rose. Let's take away Pete Rose for the gambling thing. Let's just say you want to say, well, that banished you, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about Barry Bonds? What about Roger Clemens? What
Manny
about
Ramirez?
Jeff Kent? What about, well, Jeff Kent got in, actually. I take that back. Jeff Kent didn't get in for years. I think Jeff Kent recently got in. Manny Ramirez. Kurt Schilling. Kurt Schilling's never going to get in.
Nope.
All the same thing. Oh, we don't like him because he doesn't share the same beliefs as us.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
And that's what it's become, and it's become a microcosm of society in a way. But the fact that Bill Belichick is being punished, and this is what it sounds like for all intents and purposes, everything that we're hearing as to why Bill Belichick did not get in on the first ballot,
it's a penance,
is because they want him to have serve his comeuppance.
Yeah. They
want him to pay for Spygate and Deflategate one last time. And the rumored driver behind Bill Belichick not getting in is none other than Bill Belichick's longtime nemesis, if you will, Bill Polian.
Former Colts GM.
And Bill's GM. Now, if this is true, and Bill Polian pounded the table and said Bill Belichick should not get in because he should have to wait a year because of Spygate and Deflategate and whatever other cheating scandal you want to throw in there, I will say this. I begrudgingly respect it because that is the most petty shit I have ever heard in my entire life.
Hasn't he been done with football for years? And
he's been done. He's been out
of his way.
Yeah, he's been out of the picture for a long time. So for him to wait, it's been 20 years since Spygate. For him to wait 2006.
Yeah.
So 19 and a half years.
Talking about the punishment, yeah.
Right. For him to wait 20 years, 2 decades, to exact his final revenge upon Bill Belichick, that is some seriously petty shit. And I, for one, am, like I said, I begrudgingly respect people that are that petty because I don't have the energy to be that petty. Like, I can't do it day in, day out.
Right.
And hold a grudge. It's just not something I'm capable of.
Just sounds ridiculous.
But this is ridiculous. I mean, because not only, listen, if you wanted to punish Bill Belichick for Spygate, you should have done it 20 years ago. We all sat here, those of us that are not on the Patriots side, we laughed in the face of Roger Goodell when they threw out the, $500,000 fine in the first round draft pick. We were like, that's it? Like, this man arguably, cheated his way to 3 Super Bowls, and all you're going to do is punish him. That's it? That's the slap on the wrist? Like, okay, I guess that's what we're doing. And we all had to live with it. But now, you let that go for 20 years, and you let Belichick continue to coach and do his thing, and you can argue about you can try and say Deflategate, but Deflategate was so much to do about nothing. We all know that was just a way to get back at them again for Spygate because people were still upset that they didn't punish them hard enough.
What are you talking about? didn't get punished hard enough for Spygate. Like that was like the most insane punishment of all time.
Not according to anybody who wasn't on the Patriots side. Because if you're looking at it from if you're a non-Patriots fan and you're looking at Spygate and you're thinking like this dude just cheated his way to 3 Super Bowls in 4 years to get a $500,000 and a first-round draft pick docked, and that's it. No suspensions, no games missed, no wins vacated, nothing.
Because it wasn't not to make this a Spygate show. It was essentially you filmed, which was fine, but you filmed from spot X when you can only film from spot.
We all know
Y.
there was more to it than that. That's what they told us. That was the spin on it, and that's why people were mad. Because we all know it was more than that. Yeah, the Steelers know it was more than that. The Rams know it was more than that. Everybody with
I don't believe a fucking thing.
Everybody knows
Mike Martz was a fucking
everybody
lying
knows
sack
it was
of
more
shit.
than that. I mean, shit. Josh McDaniels got caught 4 years later, literally filming the 49ers practices in London. That's why he got fired from the Broncos. Because they were filming they were in the fucking dome when the Niners were practicing, filming their practices.
Yeah, Jared, I agree with that. Like,
So-
Bill Polian is being in the Hall of Fame is fucking hypocritical.
Listen, we can go there because that's all on the table now. Now, again, I don't give a shit. Spygate's it's done. It's over with.
Mm-hmm.
The league made their decision. We all had to live with it. Whatever. So if you're gonna come back 20 years later and try to hold it against them, no, like that ship has sailed. You should have been pounding the table back then.
Right.
And you should have made your voice heard back then. Been a little bit more public about it. Been a little bit more in your face about it. Pressed Goodell harder to get a punishment that you felt was just. Because like I said, we all know Deflategate was just them trying to re-punish them for Spygate.
Yeah, because it felt like Deflategate was just like
we got him. We got something.
yeah, and
You
it was
know,
like
it's
nothing.
it's like when a cop, like if a cop wants to pull you over, they can find anything to
Yeah,
pull
they'll
you
find
over.
anything.
And you know what I mean? And then next
That
thing,
back taillight's a little weak.
yeah, like I know you got 6 grams of fentanyl in the trunk.
What?
But I don't have a reason to pull you over. Ah, wait a minute. Yes, I do. You know, like you can find certain things. But Spygate was a whole lot to do about nothing. It was awesome. It was fun. And it provided us endless hours of material on this show. But it's on the field, really, like 45-7. You really think taking a little air out of football was really going to make a difference? Like, all right, if you believe that, then I got a bridge to sell you in France. It's only been bombed twice. Now, why would you do it if it didn't give you a competitive advantage? I don't know. Wasn't that the $1 million question that Robert Kraft asked Bill Belichick? You know, when he asked him about Spygate to begin with, and he claimed it didn't give him a competitive advantage. He said, well, what the fuck did you do it for? Mm-hmm. Which is why we know it was giving them a competitive advantage, because Bill Belichick doesn't do anything that's not going to give him a competitive advantage at some point or another. All that to be said, I'm sorry, but you cannot hold that against Bill Belichick 20 years later when it gets to the Hall of Fame voting. Because now you are cheapening the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
You are removing the integrity from this process that we all thought was sacred, that we all thought that the voters like took a serious like vow to uphold and vote in the manner that was consistent with the values of the league.
Clearly not. Clearly, the values of the league are easily swayed by one person that went in there and just been like, I used it, and you should too.
Right? I mean, we saw it with Terrell Owens. We all know T.O. should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Right.
Slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famer. Like,
Yep.
I mean, I don't care.
And that was more of just
you
like
didn't like the sit-ups in the fucking driveway. You didn't like his antics that got him, basically kicked off the Eagles.
Sure.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. The guy
Right.
he's arguably a top 3 receiver of all time.
100%.
So you can't just sit here and say he's not a Hall of Famer because you didn't like his attitude.
What's your short
That
list of
doesn't
wide
count.
receivers of all time? Hey, name me your top 5 greatest wide receivers of all time. You hear in some order: Jerry, Randy, T.O., Megatron, Marvin, and some variation. Those are like the top 5 names you'll always
Larry
hear.
Fitz, Chris Carter, Tim Brown,
I think Chris Carter's kind of fallen off now.
Don Hudson.
I feel like other guys have kind of like stepped
Yeah,
up
he's
into it.
he's up there. But like you'll get those guys that those old school guys that like watched Chris Carter, really watched him back in the day,
Right.
and saw what he was capable of doing. But you're right. So this is absolutely asinine. I mean, because again, it just like this you're taking the Hall of Fame, something that, we always, we've already lost faith in the Pro Bowl, right? Nobody gives a shit about the Pro Bowl. You said at the start of the show.
No.
Shador Sanders is going to be starting, is going to have a spot in the Pro Bowl.
How many
What?
other people backed out? Was my mother unavailable to make the Pro
Seriously.
Bowl?
Did they not want Eli Manning to come out of the booth and throw? Like,
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, it's the Pro Bowl. It's flag football, for Christ's sake.
Was it like, did you invite a special guest from Saturday Night Live and they couldn't make it? So you're like, oh, I guess we have to ask Sanders now.
But again, but we always talked about it too. Like Pro Bowl nods
mean nothing.
but they had an effect on your Hall of Fame status. Like they would,
Sure.
if you went to the Pro Bowl, they're like, oh, this guy's a 12-time Pro Bowler. Like, of course he's going to the Hall of Fame. Like,
Yeah.
Now that means nothing.
All pros mean something.
Now it's
all
come down to
pros,
all
second
pro.
team all pros.
Which again, I don't even know if the all pro thing means anything anymore with some of the way these guys vote. Like, I don't know who's doing the voting for these things, but the fact that Nick Bonito was not even a second team all pro,
which was very surprising to me.
was tremendously surprising. I mean,
he was like a most consistent defensive end all year in the NFL, and they were just like, we're gonna leave him off.
Nah, we don't want you.
His hat choice after the game though was questionable. I was like, "Is he wearing a pussy hat? What's going on there?"
It's very stylish. You got
I don't know about that.
You got it from Cam Newton. So
Cam Newton wears feathers.
But this is the most egregious leave off of a Hall of Fame roster that I've ever seen in my life.
It's up there with. Who else can you name it up there with? Is it like a Clemens, a Bonds? Is it like up there with that?
Barry Bonds is the only guy I think that you could even put in this. Because, again, like you said, the Pete Rose thing, the gambling thing, he was banished from baseball. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's what they did, so they couldn't put him in the Hall until they unbanished him posthumously, if you will.
Correct.
Barry Bonds was still alive and kicking. We all know what Barry Bonds did. We watched Barry Bonds.
They waited for Pete Rose to die intentionally and then immediately put him in.
Of course they did.
Which was really
total
scummy.
bullshit. It was a total shitbag move, but I don't expect anything less from MLB at this point.
I think Bill Polian's hopefully Belichick will die in the next 12 months, so that way he will go in posthumously.
I was low-key hoping for that for about 20 years, and it just didn't happen.
Jesus Christ.
Just kidding. I didn't want him to die, but retire would have been fine. Go away. Stop being a thorn in my balls every single season. That would have been great.
And by the way, speaking of Belichick, how does he not get one team to call him and be like, hey, is there any interest in you coaching in the NFL?
Because I don't think he has any interest.
Mm.
I really don't. I think the only two jobs I think he would have been remotely interested in were Buffalo and New York. Or the Giants.
New York didn't even consider him.
Nope. And I don't think the situation was right for him in New York. I think the situation was right for him in Buffalo, and then he saw Buffalo's owner completely just throw his ex-coach and his, Keon Coleman under the bus, and I think Bill Belichick was like, you know what? I don't think I want anything to do with that.
That was the funniest year-end wrap-up I've ever seen in my life.
It was unreal. It was like you can't. Again, the NFL is constant drama. We know that, but that was beyond drama. That was like, dude, what are we doing here?
He's like, anybody
Terry
know,
Pagula, what are you doing?
Anybody know what these numbers mean? 225326. and he gives it 3 seconds. And he goes, that was our seating the last 6 years. It's like, you gave nobody a chance to answer it. You just threw out a random set of numbers, and then he was like, let me tell you about Keon Coleman. He's a piece of shit. Keon Coleman's in the back of the room like, yo, what the fuck?
Keon Coleman's like in his off-season program, like, basically just got done cleaning out his locker, and they're like, oh, yeah, the reason we lost? That fucking asshole right there. Bust.
He has to be the most instantly cut person of all time.
I can't imagine that they keep him around for even a half a second.
A whole press conference.
Even though the Bills decided to go with Joe Brady as their head coach, so
yes, the same guy.
So they've got their offensive coordinator now as they're promoted to head coach. But this whole Belichick thing is outrageous. I don't understand how you can take what I think most people would agree is the greatest coach in any sport of all time, and not put him in the Hall of Fame on his first go around.
Right.
Like why do we even have a Hall of Fame then? I mean, and the outrage for this is nationwide. It ranges from all corners. I mean, J.J. Watt, Adam Shine, Schefter. There are people that are pissed about this. And I want the names of the 10 people or the 11 people that didn't vote for Bill Belichick. I want their names. I want to know who they are. Because it will immediately discredit anything they say from here on out. And they should probably lose their ability to vote going forward. Because you're clearly using your status as a weapon. You're holding those votes over people saying, you better treat me right or I might not vote for you. Like that's not how this works. This is not a personal thing. It doesn't matter how he treated the media. It doesn't matter if he gave, one-word answers in post-game pressers or answered questions in a manner that you didn't like. Just remember, we hate the media, okay? Fans love Bill Belichick. He gave them 6 Super Bowls. They don't give a shit about the guy from the Boston Globe that could only get a one-word answer out of him. They don't even know who the fuck you are. But like we've talked about in shows past, the gatekeepers are the media. The media consider themselves the gatekeepers, and they're the end-all, be-all. And if you don't appease them, then God damn it, we will fucking rain hell upon you.
Yeah, we have nothing to do with planning, preparing, playing, witnessing the game. We only report on the game. We will keep you out of that.
And then add in our opinions, which let me, for the most part, are wildly uninformed.
Yes, pointless more often
just
than not.
Stupid. So I want the names of the people who didn't vote for Belichick. Those
Show me the Belichick
Those
list.
need to be made public ASAP because this is bullshit. And you know me, I'm no fan of the New England Patriots. Belichick made my life miserable for 2 decades. But it was very easy to recognize the greatness that was going on and understand that we will never see another run like that in the history maybe of sports.
Probably not.
Spanning 2 decades?
Not with one coach and one quarterback together like that.
It'll never happen. It'll never happen because Mahomes and Reed aren't going to make it 20 years together.
No, Reed's got like what?
Peyton and Nick's,
left?
even if they start today, Peyton's not going to make it that far.
Oh, Peyton's up there.
You know what I mean? Like
maybe
Stafford and McVay.
No,
Stafford's going to be done in a year or two. Like
you need a young head coach and a young quarterback to start together and just go. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I'm not gonna say don't get me trapped in. Someone's gonna call and be like Vrabel in May. No, don't do that.
Okay,
that would be.
But that could. But they fit. They check both the boxes.
I know, but someone's immediately gonna plug that in and be like, we just had one to another. Like, no, the odds of that happening are like winning the Powerball twice. You know what I mean? The odds of that happening are so slim.
The odds of that happening are about the same as getting 11 wins off of 11 teams that fire their head coaches at the end of the year. But
yeah, I'm leaning full into it. Like,
oh, trust me, we'll get into the schedule May when we get to the next segment.
I am full on leading into it now. People are like, oh, the schedule, and I'm like, shame on all those other teams of all time who never took advantage of it. We're the first fucking ones to do it. That's right. There has to be a first somewhere, and we're the first ones to do it. God damn it.
But no, this is. I think this is just gotta. We have to. Somebody's gonna be held accountable for this.
They're never going to come up with that list, ever.
They have to.
No,
I think, and you know what? Honestly, Sean, I think there's going to be so much pressure from the public and the other people in the media. Somebody who voted for Belichick is going to find out, and it's going to get leaked.
I would like to see that happen.
It's going to get leaked.
That anonymous person came out tonight and was just like, yo, Bill Polian was causing some shit. He wanted to be anonymous.
Yeah.
So that person already was like...
People are fucking pissed about this because, again, it takes away the legitimacy of the vote.
Right.
It completely undermines everything that the Hall of Fame is supposed to stand for.
That person should have got up after Bill Polian and be like, everything that man just said was fucking crazy. Just sat back down.
Yep. And if it is, in fact, Bill Polian that was the ringleader of this, and we don't know for sure that it was, it's very easy
You can see it, though.
It's very easy to look at him and be like, I mean, probably. Like, he's been doing this forever. Like, he's been bitching nonstop about the Patriots since 2004.
Yeah.
But it's very, like, we don't know that it's him. But if it is him, still, shame on the other 10-plus people that followed along.
It would be...
like, have a fucking spine.
Another person that one day was Miguel Martz. And he was just like, let me tell you, do not vote for this man.
Yeah. Miguel Martz. They call me the mad scientist in my home country. I don't know why he's Russian, but whatever.
He shaves. He just adds a mustache and still has the same glasses, and he's wearing the St. Louis Rams pullover. They're like, Mike Martz, it's just you. He's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, so I want heads to roll for this because we have to protect something. Something has to be sacred in the NFL. We've already sold out. We already know they're selling out for an 18-game season. We already know they're selling out
they want
for
that next year.
International games. We know they're already selling out for expanding the league to 40 teams by what, 2035?
They want 40 teams by 2035, an extra 2 new divisions.
They want we don't even have 16 quarterbacks that can round out the league right now that are capable of playing on Sundays, but sure, let's add 8 more because, the talent pool is just overflowing.
Tua is going to be a household name for years to come. He'll be like, hell yeah, I'm still in this bitch.
So we already know the league is selling out on all of this shit, and they're going to continue to sell out every chance they get. I mean, we're not that far away from, sponsors on jerseys and shit like that. Like,
we have it on practice jerseys already.
Yep, so that means it's coming to the league. It's coming to Sundays. So don't get twisted.
I will get upset when you see like the first down yard. The first down yard line is also presented by Subway. You know what I mean? It'll be like across it like that, like the Subway first yard marker.
Right.
It'll be like, oh, god damn it.
We have the Quiznos line of scrimmage and the Subway first down marker.
Oh man, I miss Quiznos.
I do too. Actually, I had pretty
Quiznos
bomb
was
subs.
good.
But they've sold out for everything, Sean. The one thing I think we've got to stand up and say, like, no, we need something to be holy in this league still. We need something to be revered. Like, we need somewhere to go where we can go back and look at the actual greats of the league and remember where we came from, because in 10, 11 years from now, this league is going to look completely different.
It'll be dead.
And I don't think it'll be dead because we have so many degenerates that will be gambling on it every single week that it'll never really go away. But yes, football as we know it is already dead, and it's going to continue to die a slow, painful death. Now, they've been doing this for years. We've seen it coming. We've been saying it's coming, and now we're here. Now you're going to have that Pro Bowl we were talking about, that's a flag football game now.
Yep.
Gone are the days of Sean Taylor destroying Brian Moorman and trying to take his soul from him. That shit's gone. Same thing with what's going to happen to the league at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It's all going to be a flag football league. And we've been saying it for years. We've seen, the writing's on the wall. We can see it coming. So please allow our Hall of Fame to remain sacred and get these fucking bozos, these clowns, these absolutely repugnant pieces of shit who refuse to vote for Bill Belichick to get in on the first ballot. I mean, if anybody was going to be a unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer as a coach, it should be Bill Belichick. And the fact that he doesn't get in on his first round is just absolutely ridiculous. It's a joke. They're making a mockery of it. And quite frankly, as a fan, I won't stand for it, and I'm going to keep pounding the table until we get the answers that I want. And I want those 10 or 11 people who didn't vote for him, I want their ability to vote removed. Immediately, stripped of any abilities they have, whether it be Pro Bowl, any of the AP awards, any of it. You shouldn't even be able to go on NFL.com and cast a vote for the Pro Bowl.
I think I agree with that. I actually just don't want the Pro Bowl to exist anymore, to be honest with you. That would be my opinion. I would just be like, banish the Pro Bowl in its entirety. Well, don't need it anymore.
It's coming to that, right? Like that's what we're doing. We're getting there. 774-992-8702 is the phone number if you want to give us a call. We're going to get into the Patriots and the Broncos, the Rams and the Seahawks, the weekend that was in the conference championship. And of course, we'll be taking your calls. And I'm sure we'll find some other rabbit holes to go down as well. But I had to get that out about Bill Belichick. Because even though he made my life miserable for 2 decades,
mm-hmm.
It's absurd to me for people that can't recognize the greatness. And please spare me he was nothing without Brady bullshit. Like I won't even tolerate that level of stupidity. Like I won't even have a conversation with you about it. It's just you clearly don't get it. Like you don't. If that's your reasoning as to why he didn't get in as a first ballot Hall of Famer, you haven't been paying attention for the last 20 years. Okay, because Tom Brady didn't give himself a top 10 defense for 70% of his career, okay? That didn't happen that way.
He's like, he could have?
Yeah, he was like, oh, yeah. Brady went out there and willed Ty Law to make 3 interceptions in that AFC Championship game, man.
But he asked, he said, hey, can you make a few picks for me? And Ty was like,
hey, Ty, I'm going to need like 3 out of you today, all right? And Ty was like, gotcha, bro, say less. 774-992-8702, Joey Fats Radio, row 1, seat 1, live on the one, the only, the New Bedford Guide. Sean, let's dive right into the game that you and I obviously are most interested in, because Rams Seahawks was a great game. We'll definitely get into it. But Patriots Broncos.
Wow, what a barn burner that game was.
Absolute barn burner of a game. It's the second game that's ended in a 10-7 final at Mile High this year.
Who would have known that the game would have been over by the end of the second quarter?
Well, I think Sean Payton did. And that's going to explain a few things. So let me just start off by saying this. If Bo Nix is healthy, the Broncos probably dunk on the Patriots 31-3.
Can we go back before we even get into the game? We went, I think, through almost 3 months ago now. We went through all of our playoffs. We both picked this game happening, and both of us honestly did pick the Broncos to continue on, considering full health of the teams. Last week, when it came to actually the game time and knowing of the injury, I did switch my pick to the Patriots, A, because I'm a Patriots fan, and B, because that Bo Nix injury was pretty fucking significant.
Sure was.
Even after seeing this weekend's game, I never would have predicted this score. This score felt like...
I did, because I had the Broncos winning 27-13.
Vegas thought the game was going to have 36 total points. So Vegas knew it was going to be low scoring. Vegas did not know fucking 17.
No, nobody had that under the under.
Right.
I had 27-13 with the caveat that Denver's defense would score. You know, I thought they could go out, get 5 field goals and a touchdown, and then, you know, a defensive score.
Okay.
You know, I thought that would be kind of how this game was going to play out because, you know, I knew Denver's defense was the better unit when it came up to matching up against New England's offense. There was no doubt in my mind that New England was going to struggle to score points and even move the ball, and that's exactly what happened.
Oh, yeah, my camera's frozen. I promise you I didn't have a stroke like Mitch McConnell. Thanks, Graham.
Let me see if I can...
Sean's camera's frozen unless he had a stroke like Mitch McConnell. My hand, I just froze in my hand. I'm like Sean?
Something's fucky with this thing tonight. I don't know. Streamlabs tried to update right before we started, when I opened it, right before the show started. Then the update froze mid, like 75% of the way through. So something's a little fucky. So just keep an eye on it for me. I'll keep it moving. But
Graham, I appreciate that.
Yeah, he went. All you needed was the turtle face. Like
imagine if I just froze the camera and everyone's like, "Oh, is he okay?"
It'd be like the time we put the picture up of you.
Oh yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah,
oh my god,
a long time ago. But no, as far as the Broncos defense and what they were going to do to the New England offense, that played out right exactly as I thought it was going to.
We both assumed that was going to go exactly like it did, and it did. I thought they got way more pressure on Drake than I even had. I worried they were going to get a lot of pressure. They got more pressure than I worried that they were going to get on him.
I mean, they sacked him another 5 times. That puts him at 15 on the postseason.
Yeah, his ass getting eaten up.
Yeah. Gross. But yes. So that part went exactly as I thought. Then, now, I didn't know that there was going to be like this. They said there was a chance of snow in the second half, but nobody really mentioned how much snow.
Yeah, that was fucking weird.
And like so when you're in, I guess in Denver, like these like blizzards like come out of nowhere.
Yeah, like white, like squalls.
Yeah, but they're like blizzard-esque, but they dump like 8 inches to a foot of snow on you in like a couple hours, and you're like, excuse me? Like, and then it's gone, and it's sunny again, it's 70 degrees, and you're like, the fuck just happened?
I hated that AI overlay they threw on the field that for like
they did a terrible job.
They did it for like 2 full like drives, and then they must have got so many complaints they just took it off. They said fuck it.
Yeah.
Because it was so large and bright, everyone was like, yo, this is crazy. And then they're like, forget it. We don't know anything.
So there was 3 major plays in the first half that basically dictated the outcome of this game.
Okay.
Number 1 was the backwards pass.
That wasn't the first one for me.
The first one was the deep ball to Mims when he burnt Gonzalez and set them up.
That
for
was
first
my
touchdown.
first one. I thought that was. I was like, this is gonna be a long day.
And I loved it because they burnt Gonzalez twice on that drive. Once for the deep ball and then again for the touchdown. Because
I said if Gonzalez is getting burned, I said it's over before it even begins. I was like, because he's been like the glue in our defense this year.
Yes, and. So you're right. The first big play was the 53-yard bomb to Marvin Mims.
Yep, and then what was it? Cortland to the back of the end zone,
and then Sutton in the back of the end zone
again over Gonzalez, and I was like, oh, we're fucked.
Now I took Denver with the 3.5 points.
Yep.
So I was feeling pretty good because I had Sutton anytime touchdown, Denver by 3.5. I'm right there. I'm thinking like, all right, we got this.
Yeah.
And then I just needed R.J. Harvey, Denver's defense, and I needed Stidham to throw for 150 yards. He only gave me 133, so I got fucked anyway. But the three big plays, one was the 53-yard bomb that set Denver up for their first touchdown. The next one on the very next drive was the 4th and 1 call from Sean Payton.
I did not like that.
So
immediately I was like, wow. And you know what? In the back of my mind, I thought of you. Because generally this whole playoff series, I was just like, fucking go for it. Go for it, go for it, go for it. For some reason, I was like, we're facing the Broncos, and I know Joey's like, always take the points. And when I saw the Broncos go out for it, and I was like, I think that's a mistake. And in the back of my mind, I was like, I bet Joey at his house, because me and Joey did not talk on Sunday until after the game when I was like, hey, buddy, I'm sorry. One of us had to win. At that moment, in the back of my mind, I was like, I guarantee you Joey's like, take the points. And I wondered if you did.
So my initial reaction was take the points. Because I knew they were going to be at a premium. And I'm thinking like, okay, we can get to 10. I said, however, I don't hate the idea of going for it here on 4th and 1 because...
It'll pin us back, too.
Well, because basically, right, like say it's incomplete, whatever, they take over at the 10, or whatever it was. I think it was like the 11-yard line.
Yeah, it was within the 15.
It was inside the 15. I'm like, field position's not going to be terrible. Now, this is about as chip shot of a field goal as you're going to get in this league, so you might want to take it. But I didn't hate the idea to go for it because I felt like if we could get to 14 points, the way the defense was playing, I thought that might be enough. We might have to get in field goal range one more time to salt that game away. But the way the defense looked,
I thought if you go up 14-0.
Game's over.
Yeah, I felt it that early.
Because now we're pinning our ears back. Ramondre Stevenson becomes a non-issue.
Yeah.
And we're just pinning it. We're getting after it. And Will Campbell is going to get his lunch pail taken. And it's going to be one of those kind of days. And we're going to end up, and like I said, that was the need. Now, I didn't know. I knew, like I said, I knew there was a chance for snow in the second half, but I didn't know how much.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody really said that there was going to be, that there was the chance for this. After the fact, people were criticizing Sean Payton for going for it on 4th and 1. Now, again, I don't like the fact that they went for it. Didn't particularly care for the call.
Call stunk.
Well, I think it got blown up. I think there was some miscommunication. You remember they took the timeout right before it.
Correct.
Which should have made it easier, but they got up to the line. They kind of Stidham got them up there late. They didn't really. I don't know. They looked a little bit disjointed on that play.
Yeah.
And the Patriots were basically like, well, you're not running it and you're not sneaking it, so you're going to have to throw it instead of miss the hot and couldn't get the ball out, whatever. And he ends up throwing it, incomplete, almost intercepted, which at that point is the same thing anyway.
Right.
But I think when they asked Sean Payton about it after the fact, Sean Payton, my theory is that Sean Payton knew the weather was coming and it was going to be ugly. And I think he figured if we can get this to 14 points, we're good. Like we can win with 14 points.
Yeah, that defense was fucking hunkering down. Like,
they were not.
Surtain, player of the game. I don't care what team he was.
Oh, like last week, and everybody was telling me like, oh, Keyshawn Booty, bro. You see, he beat Stingley. I'm like, bro, Stingley ain't even in Surtain's stratosphere. I don't know what you guys have been watching for the last 2 years, but when people were trying to tell me that Houston's defense was better than Denver's, I laughed.
No, I didn't say that.
Not you, but
in general.
A lot of people were trying to tell me that, well, we just beat Houston, and Booty just burned Stingley on that one-handed grab. I said, yeah, go ahead and try that against Surtain. See what happens.
But, man, Surtain was like literally, the guy couldn't even, nobody could get away from Surtain, and he was like
jogging.
Yeah, like.
He was just jogging with Keyshawn Booty. Keyshawn Booty couldn't do anything.
And he's the
with him.
speed dude we have.
Exactly. So I knew that was. Remember I said that last week?
Yeah.
I said put PS2 on Booty, and then just kind of bracket Diggs and don't let him kill you.
Let him. What happened? Diggs had what? 5 receptions for 17 yards.
I mean, Drake May threw for 84 yards. 84.
Total?
40 of which came on that flea flicker to Mac Hollins.
Mac Hollins ended up being a big playmaker.
He made the 2 biggest catches of the game, which I mean, I don't know if it matters who's in that play, who's running that route at that point.
I think it matters because I think Mac Hollins. I told you that was like his binky for like half the year.
Yeah,
and I was like, of all people, Mac Hollins is like one of his favorite targets.
Yeah, the flea flicker was the play, but that didn't end up hurting him anyway. Like they got no points on that drive regardless, so it really didn't matter. But that was my whole thing. Was like Drake May throws for 84 yards. Ramondre Stevenson is a non-factor. I think he was averaged like 2.1 yards per carry
until the end. Yeah,
and that was it. Like there was just the Patriots offense was doing nothing against our defense.
Yep.
And I think if we had gotten to 14 points, I don't want to say it's a wrap, but it's a wrap because they couldn't do shit. Drake May looked lost. I mean, he didn't look good at all.
He looked rattled.
He looked like he was completely flabbergasted. Like he's looked the last 2 weeks, to be honest. You know, he's made a couple. He made one nice throw against the Texans to Booty.
I think
where he got bailed out on a one-handed grab. But other than that,
no, I think the Texans. He was okay. I think he was just beat the shit a lot.
He has looked very unimpressive in the playoffs. Very unimpressive.
It's the pressure really getting to him. But
15 sacks.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, their average. They
killed.
scored what 16 against the Chargers. I know they had 21 against the Texans. And then
and then 10.
And then 10 against Denver.
It shouldn't have even been 10. I mean, technically it should have only been 3 because that 7 points should have been a defensive touchdown, to be honest with you.
Could have been that too.
Yeah.
Or it should have been ruled properly an incomplete pass because it was tipped.
That play was a fucking
the
mess.
Third major play of the first half was the backwards pass. That was tipped at the line of scrimmage that should have been ruled incomplete, but it wasn't.
And that's what changed the game for me. Was that play on. And then Jarrett from that moment on was like, fuck.
Well, because the Patriots, I mean, listen, the Patriots, they got the ball at the 11-yard line. They go in for a touchdown. They never got close again after that.
No.
The only time they got close was on to start the second half when they kicked the field goal to make it 10.
Yeah, it took 9 minutes off the clock, and then we got nothing out of it besides 3 points. And I was like, how the fuck do you get nothing out of that?
And not for nothing, but the 4th and 1 that they went for it on, when Denver clearly stopped them, and they like, where is this magic chip in the ball that we're supposed to have?
Doesn't exist.
You know, because
all fake.
Because the whole point of that, like, oh, we're going to use the chip and we're going to use GPS locators to find out where it is. That is exactly the play that you have that chip for, or are supposed to have it for.
Meh.
Because you can't see the ball.
Even cameras. Meh.
Even though everybody with two eyes and a functioning brain knew Drake May was short on that 4th and 1.
That above camera is your best bet.
And
if I'm being unbiased, that above camera, it's like you lose track of where he goes, and he's at the line, and you can make an argument that he doesn't make it. But what the NFL refs do is, well, we did make the call that says he's first down. Well, we're just going to keep it.
Yeah, they never go against. They never overturn their own.
It's like judges. Right. Oh, what did that judge say? I'm not going to go.
And again, and that only led to 3 points. So it wasn't
praise again.
It wasn't like it was a killer. It wasn't like, oh God, it ended up being the difference in the game.
Right.
But Denver's defense did what Denver's defense was supposed to do. They held the Patriots to 10 points.
Correct.
And that's why I said if Bo Nix plays this game, it's a fucking blowout. And that's what I think the biggest kick in the nuts is for Denver fans and anybody else, anybody rooting against the Patriots, is that game, even like Nick Bonito came out after the game and said it. He's like, this one hurts because we knew we were the better team. And they were, but they were down. You go into a game, an AFC championship, without your starting quarterback, without your starting running back and J.K. Dobbins, and they end up losing Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant again during that game. Actually, I don't think Troy Franklin even started. Sorry, Troy Franklin didn't even start, and then they lose Pat Bryant again. So you're down 2 receivers, a running back, and your quarterback. Like, yeah, points are going to be fucking hard to come by, which is why I said Denver's defense was going to need to score in that game. And I felt like that was going to be the case all week anyway. It just didn't happen. It was close. I mean, Talanoa Hufanga on that opening drive, he had his hands on it, man. Like, we gotta get him in a jugs machine in the offseason.
That's his thing, though. Even we talked about it. Hufanga is not going to be the type of guy. That's why he's on defense. He's a fucking mauler. He's a guy that will just beat the shit out of you. He's always been that guy, though. I love Hufanga. I loved him even before he signed on with Denver. I said I would take him on the Patriots. But he's not going to be the one that catches a lot of interceptions.
No, but he has in the past, and he has caught interceptions, and he needs to get back to that. I mean, he got his hands on a couple that, that one should have been 6. That should have been a house call to start the game. And that was
close.
If that's a house call to start the game, fucking
yeah, because that's 14 points.
Pack your shit up, go. Like, you're out. No, it would have been before that.
Yeah, but I said they'd likely score again.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? But that crowd, that place would have been fucking uninhabitable for the visiting team
Ape
at
shit.
that point.
Yeah.
No, Jay, I don't think if Davis Webb ends up going on to be the head coach of the Raiders, I don't think that changes much for Denver. It's not a great loss for us,
Who
but
did you fire today?
the offensive coordinator. I wanted to say Joe Philbin for some idiot reason.
Joe Philbin, he's
I
dead.
know. That was the name that just popped into my head.
Nathaniel Hackett.
No, what the goddamn hell is his name? He doesn't call the plays, so it doesn't really matter.
Joe Philbin. Where is Joe Philbin?
Retired?
Well, I want to say I think he's dead.
Let's see. Joe Lombardi. I knew it was a legacy name.
No, Joe Philbin's alive.
Yeah, Joe. No, he is alive, but I'm just saying he's not. He hasn't been in the league for a while.
No, he hasn't.
It's been a long while. But no, I think because Sean Payton calls the plays, and he has a lot to do. He's very hands-on with Bo. I don't think losing Davis Webb's going to hurt. It won't. It's less than ideal because you want to keep that continuity. But where am I looking here? There we go. You want to keep the continuity within the coaching staff as best you can, but it looks like we're going to do that. I mean, Vance Joseph, I guess it kind of leaked out yesterday that a couple of the players kind of slipped up and said that Vance told everybody he's staying, that he's not taking a head coaching job or going.
That's not surprising, I don't think.
I don't think. Well, he was in line. You know how it goes. He coached that defense to a great season, and all of a sudden he becomes a hot name.
Yeah.
And people are like,
Wasn't he a coach before though?
Yeah, for the Broncos. He was our head coach.
And then he came back as a defensive coordinator?
Yeah.
That doesn't usually happen.
It's very rare. But they were between Vic Fangio and Vance Joseph to come back, and Vic Fangio didn't want to come back as a DC because he knew too many guys in the locker room, didn't think it would work. Ended up going to Philly, won the Super Bowl with them, which was awesome. Happy for Vic.
Yeah.
And then Vance ended up coming back. But, I mean, to look at where this defense was when they gave up 70 to the Miami Dolphins, which how many times did I tell you should have kicked a fucking field goal, Mike McDaniel?
Yeah, you said that was gonna haunt his career.
Because what did I say? Because in 3 years, when you're fired and you haven't won a playoff game or even gotten remotely close to a Super Bowl, no one's gonna know. No one's gonna remember you scored 70 today.
He's a Charger now, bro. What are you talking about?
Oh, I know. I think it's a terrible fit for the Chargers too, which is kind of hilarious. I don't think Mike McDaniel really fits what Herbert does. So
I think he took it because he doesn't have to. He's basically behind the scenes guy now. He's under but he doesn't fit Harbaugh's plan though either.
No,
he's not a Harbaugh coach.
No,
guy.
He's a fucking freaky deaky run and gun.
He's a Kyle
offense.
Shanahan guy.
Yeah, he's not.
Why? I'm surprised he didn't go back with Kyle.
Maybe it wasn't anything available there.
Oh, like they don't make up assistant to the assistant vice principal offensive coordinator.
Right.
They make up those fucking positions all the time.
But back to the championship game. Yeah, I mean, it blows, dude, to lose this game, knowing that if our starting quarterback was there, we'd dunk on you guys. And I say that with the utmost certainty. Like, there is not a single doubt in my mind that if 26 minutes after that game we don't get the most gut-wrenching news of the season, that the Broncos are on their way to the Super Bowl to play the Seattle Seahawks in a rematch right now.
I do say unbiasedly that it is a different – if Bo Nix is there, it does feel like it's a different game. But he wasn't, so I can't.
No, it is what it is.
It is what it is. I can't be not excited.
And here's the fact of the matter is we lost 10-7 with our backup quarterback, no number one running back, and down 2 wide receivers.
Yeah, you know what? You really didn't use McLaughlin at all. It was basically R.J. Harvey all day.
R.J. ran great.
I give him a lot of credit.
I give him, dude, he's going to be special. I don't know if he's going to be the number one bell cow type of guy. I think they're still going to go try and. I don't know if they re-sign J.K. I don't know if they try and run that back or if they go get somebody else, but J.K. wants to be a Bronco. I think they want him to be a Bronco, but they're like your injury history, not for nothing, but if J.K. Dobbins even plays in this game, it's a different game. Probably.
Can you tell me what the obsession with what's his name? Little Jordan Humphrey was all game?
Oh, him and LJ and Stidham were on the practice squad and the second team a lot, so they have a really good rapport.
I know. I just felt like I was like, Little Jordan Humphrey's in this game way too fucking much. Like
because we lost Troy. We didn't have Troy Franklin or Pat Bryant.
Damn, I just felt like he was there.
He was the number 3. It was Mims, Sutton, and him.
Damn.
That's what being down 2 guys does to you. And not for nothing, I love LJ. He's great, dude. I was so happy we brought him back mid-season that I was like, this is fucking awesome. And he had a huge touchdown for us against the Bills, on that backside post, right at the end of the first half, made up for the drop. But, Sean, to the Patriots side of things, and I know you're not going to love this part, I don't know. I cannot conjure up a scenario in my head where they beat the Seahawks. I just can't do it.
You know what I like is that you, not just specifically you and literally 90% of the audience out there are just like, there is no way the Patriots team beats the Seahawks. And how often do we do that? And the game is a lot closer than we think. And it just feels like I don't know. I feel a lot better playing Sam Darnold. That's why.
Sure, and that's like
that's
I said,
the reason why I'm like it's Sam Darnold.
Well, like I had said a couple weeks ago, if we get Seattle, if Denver goes into the game, if Denver got to the Super Bowl with Drew Lock with Bo Nix before he gets hurt, and like you're thinking like, okay, if we got to play Seattle with Sam Darnold, our defense can fuck Sam Darnold up. We can fuck with him. We could take away. We got the guys. We got the dogs on defense to make that a rough day at the office for Sam Darnold, and we've all seen what can happen to him at certain points. Sean, I don't think the Patriots can do that to Sam Darnold. From what I saw out of their defense, they took advantage of a backup quarterback with a little to non-existent running game and shorthanded at wide receiver. And if you win a game, listen, I'm not saying you got to apologize for winning a game 10-7. However, I don't see a scenario in which, and this goes for whether it was the Rams or the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it was, because if we had beaten you guys, I'd be sitting here being like, "What's the spread? Give me Seattle." Like, with Stidham. Like, there was no way we were winning the Super Bowl with Stidham, and that became, I think, pretty evident pretty quick. It wasn't gonna happen. We could have got there, and when you get there, everybody knows there's you always have a puncher's chance, right? I don't even know if the Patriots have that. The way that the Seattle defense is probably going to feast on Drake May and that offensive line, which is a fucking sieve, I don't see how the Patriots score enough points to even make this a game.
I am going to hope that since it's a neutral field in Santa Clara, that they can figure it out with 2 weeks' time, and that Drake May isn't actually hurt with that shoulder injury.
All right, we didn't even talk about that.
We didn't talk about that because apparently it's not a thing, but it's a thing.
It's a thing. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Exactly.
But then again, is it going to stop him from playing in the Super Bowl?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
If it was, we would have already known about it.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say, too. I was like, I would have seen.
We would have known.
Yes, you would have heard more fire to that.
And one other thing, real quick, just a quick aside. Can we stop saying that Drake May and the Patriots are the first team to beat 3 top 5 defenses in a playoff series?
Who said that?
It's like going around, like all these people are saying, like, oh, we beat the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th defense on the way to the playoffs. No one's ever done that before. As if Peyton Manning didn't do that in 2006 when he beat the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd defenses on his way to the Super Bowl. Number 1 being Baltimore, number 2 being New England, and number 3 being Chicago. Like, I don't know where that stat is coming from, but it's completely made up, and it's wrong.
I haven't even heard people saying that.
It's every Patriots apologist. You go to any like Barstool, Portnoy thread, or Brandon Walker, or whatever, any thread. Oh, we beat 3 top 5 defenses on our way to the Super Bowl. It's the only time that's ever been done. No, it's not. It's been done, and I don't know if it's been done more than once, but it's been done. Joey Fats Radio, roll 1C1.
Joe, what's going on? It's Nelson. How are you, man?
Nelson, what's happening, bud?
Nelson, welcome in.
Hey, I meant to call in last week, but I had meetings, and by the time I got home, I just didn't have the energy, man.
It's quite all right.
Okay.
But I wanted to catch. I haven't even caught the game, the show from last week, so I got to catch up on it. So I just wanted to just call in for obviously many things to discuss. But I obviously don't want to take the whole time on the show. As far as last week, which I know you guys probably already hashed a million times. First of all, this Buffalo Bills Denver game and this stupid ass catch. The Bills should be thankful that they were even in that game going into overtime.
I have gone down this well of being a total piece of shit.
Sean is waging a jihad against Buffalo fans on Twitter, and like he'll say something to a Buffalo fan, and you'll just see one person like it, and it's me.
No, but then I'll get like 9 comments from other Buffalo fans, and it just spurns into like these new timelines of new conversations.
Oh, you are working Trevor's axiom to a T, my friend.
Yeah, but I can't stand it right now. That to me, we had the conversation last week, and both of us are in agreement. That's okay. Both of us are in agreement. I don't care how you view it, cut it, slice it. In no universe of mine of watching football in my life would I consider that a catch.
Correct. And
he's not a running back.
Right. And the biggest issue with that play is who caught that ball. And the guy who caught the ball, it's soft as shit. And that's the guy that you scrape off because you have no one else, because you haven't managed your assets correctly. You don't really have a great wide receiver core that you've been drafting. And we talked about this a few weeks ago, where the Bills have been falling under the radar and not having guys that they've been drafting well, with Keon Coleman not really working out and allowing the nemesis getting Xavier Worthy, who I think will be a better player. So you go get Brandon Cooks. You don't get a Devontae Adams, who does make his catch a couple weeks ago, and now you're griping. The Bills had no business in being in that game in overtime anyway. It should have been over. And the Denver Broncos, I thought, could have won that game in regulation. And if they win it in regulation, Bo Nix doesn't get hurt. And that's what I didn't like. I hated Denver's drive after the pick. And they're going down there, and there's Bo Nix running around, and it's incomplete passes. What are you doing? You have the lead. It was like 17-23. Run the clock down a little bit. You're a better team than they are. And they give the ball back to that Dingleberry Allen, and he comes down and he makes it a game in the fourth quarter. I say Dingleberry because I hate the Bills. I think the guy's a good player. But, just the way that game unraveled with the overtime that should have never happened, because 4 turnovers is enough for the other team to win. Now, people told me the Patriots had 4 turnovers. Well, why did they win? Because they played against anemic offenses who could not capitalize. Obviously, they played against a high school quarterback. C.J. Stroud, I said this a few weeks ago, is an absolute mental mess. There's something wrong with that kid. And I really hope he gets figured out, because I think he's a decent dude. But there's something not right with the way he was playing, backyard football, in that game. But so with the Buffalo fans being upset, that's on them, because you relied on Brandon Cooks to make a play for you. You're out of your mind thinking that's the guy that's going to help you in the promised land. And then, of course, Bo went down. Look, I hate Buffalo. I'm not a huge Denver fan, but I wanted to see that Bo Nix matchup. I think I said that a few weeks ago, too. I wanted that Drake May Bo Nix. I really did. Young guys who were going to have a first-time experience in going. And, of course, we get Stidham, and the game doesn't quite wind up being what we expect. I did hear, Joe, you talk a little bit about the Denver game. I think it just came down to, unfortunately, Jared just made a couple of errors that kind of hurt him. And what's ironic about the whole thing is we heard about the elevation, the 5280, which is a fact. And yet the elevation meant squat because Mother Nature decided to make it, a weird situation, right? I've never seen anything so weird in my life, in one game. So
yeah, I mean, listen, it's one of those like live by the sword, die by the sword kind of things. You have that happen at home. And again, I don't know if you heard the beginning of the show, or the beginning of the segment where we talked about this game. I think that's why Peyton went for it on the 4th and 1, because he knew if he could get that ball in the end zone and get to 14 points with the weather coming in, it was pretty much going to be over. Yeah, because then you're up 14-0. You take the air out of the ball then the first half, and that's a wrap. Like, they know at that point that New England's not moving the ball. New England wasn't moving the ball when the weather was good. Right. Like I said, they scored 10 points in that game.
And one was a gift, I know.
7 was off of the backwards pass, and 3 was off of the 4th and 1 where the Broncos clearly stopped them, but they ruled it first down. So, I mean, there's a difference in your game. It's, again, we always preach it on this show. The difference between 12-4 and 8-8 in this league is 4 or 5 plays a year. And it comes down to there was 2 of them right there. So, your Super Bowl, we knew it was going to be a close game because we knew points were going to be at a premium. And like I said earlier, we knew the weather was coming, but we didn't. Nobody really knew how bad it was going to get.
Right.
I think the Broncos knew, and people in the stadium knew because the people that lived there kind of figured it might happen. But nobody was talking about it. Like it wasn't like a big thing on Twitter with any of the beat writers, the people I follow, or anyone that was at the game. Like no one even mentioned it. Really?
No, I definitely wasn't talked about here, and I thought that in that particular game, Drake had some jitters again in the first half, missing balls and passes that he typically wouldn't miss because the players were open. I got to tell you, I wasn't super impressed with that defense, that Denver defense. I thought there was some confusion at times back there. I thought they were going to be a little bit more aggressive against them, but they don't typically blitz a lot, and they rely on their front four. And our line, I know you said they're a sieve, and they have been playing like a sieve. I don't think they played much like a sieve against you guys.
Oh, they got Drake sacked 5 more times, so
but
seems to be par for the course at this point.
Yeah, well, a lot of those were hurried up the middle, but I thought it was I thought their O-line was a lot better than the previous 2 games.
No, I don't think so.
I thought they played okay because you know what, you guys don't have anybody that's like Anderson Jr. So I mean, a good player. Like was it Benina guy?
I mean, we got plenty of guys that are like Anderson Jr. I mean, we had guys that had just as many, if not more, sacks than him on the season. So. I didn't think you guys I don't think you guys played all that well. I thought you guys could have played a lot better. I wasn't impressed with the offensive line. Your O-line's supposed to be a great line. It wasn't that great. Our offensive line is made great by Bo. I mean, we've known this all throughout the year that the offensive line is good. They're a better than average offensive line, but the fact of the matter is Bo doesn't take sacks, and Bo is excellent at not getting sacked, which kind of makes that people perceive that offensive line to be better than it really is. Now, they're not bad. I mean, Garrett Bowles is an all-pro at left tackle. We have an all-pro guard in Quinn Miners. But Wattenberg, the center, was coming back off of injury. That was his first game back. Mike McGlinchey at right tackle has been kind of just, he's been up and down all the last 2 years. So I think you're going to see Denver target a right tackle and a guard early in free agency or the draft, to be quite honest. But that's neither here nor there. The bottom line is I think Stidham missed. I mean, Stidham missed a couple of passes. There was one. They had set up a screen to Marvin Mims early in the first half, and he threw it a little bit ahead of him, and Mims couldn't wrangle it.
Well, he was wide open. He was
wide open, and he was gone. I mean, there was McGlinchey had kicked out to cover up the linebacker, and the DB was already smothered. And he's still running right now if Stidham just puts that ball on him. So
I also think that some of the things reared its ugly head where you guys had the most dropped passes in the league, 46.
Yeah, we did, and that was a problem all year.
And that's a problem, yeah. And that came to rear its ugly head. And I think in playoff games, ugly heads and weaknesses show up, and that's why the Rams aren't there, and you guys might not be there as well. I mean, I do think if Bo was there. And remember, I said this a few weeks ago, and I want to hold true. It would have been an epic failure if the Pats didn't get to the AFC because of what I thought. However, if Bo was there and Bo was playing his game, I still think Drake's a better player, but Bo has played really well. He's played really well. And if they had won, I wouldn't be sitting here very upset. I really wouldn't be.
Well,
unless there was some weird, egregious thing because Bo's been playing well.
I think oddly enough, in a weird kind of way, Bo Nix was the biggest winner on Sunday because it proved to the entire world that he is who we think he is. And that, the fact that we were able to we hung in with the Patriots, who everybody had, Drake May MVP, Mike Vrabel Coach of the Year. They got a great defense, a great team. The Patriots are back, blah, 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 blah. All that shit we heard all fucking year. And then for them to come in and eke out a 3-point win against Jarrett Stidham and a backup quarterback, I think that proves the fact that I think that proved to a lot of people that, okay, Bo Nix isn't just a product of Sean Payton. Bo Nix isn't just a product of, it's just some good circumstances or great play calls. Like, no, he was the difference.
I don't think so either. I think he's a good player. I just wish he would not be as improv-y is what I keep coming up with. I think, but that's part of his game. And if it's part of his game and it works, then you ride and die with it, right?
Some of those improv plays got us some of the most incredible wins of the season. So
I know, but I think the luck runs out at some point. I think it worked this year, and it may not work next year. And maybe we could say the same thing about Drake. I thought Drake played a really smart game. He didn't turn the ball over. He made plays with his life that mattered. You know, what's that?
He tried to.
If Drake would have had the turnovers this game that he did the last two games, we lose this game.
Oh yeah, we did, but they didn't, and that's the difference of him. You know, just the way he ran the ball with two hands, you could tell that something had been discussed over the week of you got to protect the ball, and his play that he calls to seal the game, it's a gutsy play. He made that play and called it on the line of scrimmage, and everybody bit, and they're still betting on the other side. And he's still going to the weak side. So I think the kid played pretty well considering he made the plays when he had to make it. It's still not going to be enough, you know, in the Super Bowl, but I'm not scared of Sam Darnold. And if people think I'm looking for a way of how they're going to beat Seattle, I know how we're going to beat Seattle. Just smashing Sam Darnold, you know, in the mouth because their offensive line is not that good. They have one good running back, and they got one good receiver. I'm not worried about Cooper Kupp. You want Cooper Kupp to beat you, they'll beat you. Once again, they're the sixth best defense in the game, and the Pats have been battle tested way more than Sam Darnold and Seattle have been in these playoffs. Way more. And I think that's going to pay dividends with 2 weeks of them healing up and getting ready for that game and winning it in the trenches. They're going to have to play better in the trenches, totally. And that includes the offensive line. But I think they're going to beat them with the same way, with the toughness that they got to bring in. Yes, they have a weapon in the Jigba. And, you know, Christian Gonzalez, you want to get paid? Show me. Right? And he made a couple plays, but he's got to show the world that he's a legit guy. And I'm not sure how that's going to go because Njigba's a really good player. Would I be surprised if Seattle wins? I would be surprised if Sam Darnold has a great game against the Pats. If that Rams defense blows, if that secondary stinks, they've been stinking all year, and they came back to Ritz like they had. And obviously they have problems with special teams and muffing it. And it's McVay being risky again. You want to take risks in the playoffs. That's what happens. I disagree. I didn't like Deshaun Payton. There's no need to go on 4th and 1. No need. You kick that thing at home and you get your points. That's his arrogance that got to the best of him. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it with Vrabel too. And I want to be honest with you, I don't think he got the first down either.
No, I mean, he definitely didn't get the first down. The play call, I didn't mind. Like I told Sean, I said take the points, but I didn't mind going for it there because I figured.
I just didn't think it was necessary. I mean, you guys had the momentum, man.
But that's what I'm saying. You have the momentum. You get in a situation like that with the momentum, you seize it. And that's another instance where, you know, Bo Nix, we're not even in that situation with 4th and 1 with Bo Nix because if you remember the third down before that, you know, Stidham takes off running and he slides like 1.5 yards early.
Yes, I saw. Yes,
and all he has is a defensive back in front of him, which I know is, you know, it's an NFL defensive back. It's not a small child.
He slid early, 100%.
But he definitely slid earlier than I think he should have.
I said that during the game.
I'm sitting here going like, dog, this is the AFC Championship game. Like, dive, go ahead first for that shit, bro. Like, I don't know what are you doing? And then he put us in that 4th and 1 situation.
Correct. You're right.
And
correct.
You know, that's the difference between Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham.
Of course.
There's a reason why Bo's the starter and Stidham was the backup, and that's
no doubt.
And listen, I don't mind going for it there on 4th and 1 because, like I said earlier to Sean, if they get to 14 points, it's 14-0. The game's over. That game's a wrap because then Denver's just going to pin their ears back and they're going to come after May with everything they got. And they don't really have to respect the run anymore because they know they got to throw it. And then on top of that, Sean Payton knew the weather was coming in the second half.
Yeah.
And he knew it was going to be damn near impossible to score points. So, you know, and not for nothing, but Will Lutz had, you know, 2 missed field goals on the day too, which didn't really fucking help anything. So
yeah, well, and
let me know the second one was blocked.
Yeah, but that one might have gone through. That one might have gone through.
The blocked one would have been. I think it would have been good. It looked like it was going to be good, but the one he missed in the first half in the good weather was the killer.
Yeah, that being was it wide left,
wide right,
wide right.
It just missed it too, like barely wide right.
And he's a great kicker.
He is.
He is a good kicker. The kick and kick, you know. And it was just like one of those weird things where I just feel that this run with the Patriots, it could come to the end, and they could get blasted 41-6, you know. And it's like, well, you know what? Listen, the fact that they're here, obviously I'd like them to win, but I'm going to be honest with you, Joe. We're playing with house one because they weren't even supposed to be here, you know. And now you got 2 guys who've never won a championship. I don't know anybody on that Seattle side that's even been to the Super Bowl, but I know Milton Williams has been there.
Yeah,
is that going to make a difference? I don't know.
Well, Milton Williams was literally there just last year, which actually Milton Williams made me laugh because he did a Chris Long where Chris Long was a Patriot, went to the Eagles. Now Milton Williams was an Eagle, went to the Patriots, and I don't know, it was funny to me.
Did the reverse.
Did the reverse. Hopefully they win. But and really quickly, and you talked about just the Seattle Seahawks defense, and I wanted to go search something really quick. In Joey's favorite metric of all time, the Seattle Seahawks are number 1 in DVOA.
And my actual favorite defensive statistic.
Points allowed.
17.6.
17.2.
Because I don't give a shit.
But
There's
DVOA.
There's three statistics that matter on defense. Points allowed, red zone defense, and third down percentage.
What's the red zone defense? I don't know the red zone defense.
Those are your big three. I don't know, but I know the Patriots are like 30th. So that was, and I think that was another reason why Peyton went for it on 4th and 1, because when you get down inside the red zone against the Patriots, you typically score.
But they haven't. But they haven't in the playoffs. And the Pats are playing. I think the Pats have been the best defensive unit in the playoffs.
Well, like you said, they've played 3 anemic offenses so far.
Yeah.
Arguably the best quarterback they played was Justin Herbert with two hands tied behind his back, between no offensive line and no receivers, and then CJ Stroud was so bad that he literally threw a ball. So he missed his receiver so bad, his receiver tore his ACL trying to go back for it. That's how fucking awful he was. And then obviously Jarrett Stidham making his first start in 2 years in an AFC Championship.
Poor Cade Stover tore his ACL and MCL.
And trying to go for a fucking horrendously thrown ball by CJ Stroud.
Stover. Yeah.
I mean, I know everybody's like, thumping their chest about the Patriots defense, but like I said, if Bo Nix plays this game on Sunday, I think this is like a 27-10, 28-3 kind of game. Like I don't even think it's close, to be quite honest. But
yeah, I can't wait to play.
If my aunt had uncles, if I had wheels, I'd be a wagon. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think it would be that much of a blowout, but it probably would have been a win for you guys. I mean, it
would have been the way our defense played. That would have been a rout.
Yeah,
because Bo Nix gets us up 14-0, 17-0 by the half, and then it becomes a rout at that point.
Well, I am looking forward to playing Bo Nix. Like I said, I'm not as high on Bo as you are, but I know you being a different fan that you will be. I think Drake's a better player. I think he throws a better ball. I think he's playing smarter half the time when he wants to play smart, and he doesn't improv as much, and he's just as good of an athlete, and he's an underrated runner, and he's tough to bring down. So Bo's a little bit shorter, is a little bit more elusive. So I don't know. I mean, he certainly can not take sacks, and that's a good thing. But I am curious to play that kid, and see what happens, because I think the Pats' defense is not being looked at as a guy that was going to give him problems and give him fits. Because if you play him like you play Josh Allen, you can get to him. You might not be able to sack him, but I think you might be able to make him uncomfortable, and I think he does risks, and that's okay, because he's a young guy. He's going to take risks, and so is Drake. That's why it was so exciting to see those guys play, and that's what I was hoping for. But realistically, you guys probably would have won at home, no doubt with Bo.
I have no doubt if Bo plays that game.
I think it would have been very difficult for us to get through there. But
no doubt in my mind. After outdueling Josh Allen in the divisional round, and you get New England coming to your house, a place where New England had never won a playoff game. Like I said, I think that game gets ugly early.
Yeah, I mean, it could have. I mean, it certainly started that way.
Now all I can do is sit here and wish that Bo's ankle had stayed in one piece, and but we can't do that. So guess we'll have to wait till next year to find out. But we will get Chapter 1 of May versus Knicks next year, hopefully. Yeah. As long as both are healthy.
Right. Right, and
the lock and happen between now and then.
So let me ask you: if Denver goes to the dance versus the Pats, do you think your team beats Seattle?
If Bo Nix is healthy, yes. With Stidham, no.
Really? Okay.
With Bo Nix, okay. Yeah, we have it. We would have had a shot against Seattle. Absolutely.
And you think the Pats have no shot with Drake May?
No.
Why is that?
Because they can't. Drake May's been sacked 15 times in 3 games. Seattle is going to feast on him.
All right, so you think it's a line issue then?
It's the line. It has nothing to do with May. May is capable, but they're not. They don't have enough on offense to score against that Seattle defense. They didn't have enough to score against our defense.
You guys think you would? And you guys think you would with Cortland Sutton and Franklin?
With Bo Nix, yes.
I don't think so.
Absolutely.
I think pound for pound, I'll take a guy like Mac Hollins. I'll take a guy like Diggs when he's playing well. And I think the other receivers that you guys have are subpar, and ours are average. I don't know that either one would be great.
Well, we got 2 young guys in Bryant and Franklin who are still kind of coming in their own. But Franklin,
I like Franklin a lot.
Franklin made a lot of big plays this year.
I like Franklin a lot too.
And Bryant, had he not gotten injured, he's probably going to be the number 1 in Denver. Either this year or next year. So It's coming. That train's coming. But no, I feel like we would have gone with Seattle with our defense against Seattle. Absolutely, we would have had a chance in that game.
See, and just really quickly.
With Bo, with Stidham, no. If we beat you guys, if you flip the score 10-7 and we beat you, no, we're getting routed in the Super Bowl again. Twice Seattle's beating our ass.
I think Denver fans have been feasting a little bit on how good the regular season was, and I don't think you guys were great in the postseason. And I think people are looking at the Pats in the regular season, and I think they played better in the postseason. I don't think those two teams are that different.
I don't think the Patriots have played anybody all year, so it's kind of tough to say. And we'll see what happens in 2 weeks. But I mean, they had 11 wins against teams that fired their head coaches this year. So that tells you all you need to know about who they played.
Yeah, but Denver had what, the third weakest? I mean, they were like the third weakest.
Yeah, but we had to go on the road and play Philly in Week 4. We beat them. We had to play Dallas at home when they were the number one offense, and nobody could even come close to stopping them, and we shut them down. We had to play Green Bay when they were hot. We had to play the Chiefs when they were still, the Chiefs, and we beat all those teams.
Yeah, you guys played against some good competitors and some good teams, but those were teams that I think, again, were overrated too. I mean, Dallas is a one-trick pony. They have no defense, and you guys feasted on that defense because they're horrible.
And we blew them out.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is our defense held that number one offense at the time to 17 points.
Yeah.
So I mean, and you gotta remember, we did that mostly without Pat Surtain because Pat Surtain got hurt in the first quarter of that game.
Yeah, and he's a great player, and the guy's a great player.
You got Pickens and CeeDee Lamb out there running roughshod through all these defenses, and then they get to Denver and they're like, oh shit, never mind.
Yeah. I mean, you guys played a good game against Dallas, no doubt about it. I just think that the Pats, once again, are not getting the credit that they deserve because of their schedule this and schedule that. And I just think they're pretty battle tested over these last few weeks. They've played against some. I'll
use your words against you. They played 3 anemic offenses. I mean, I don't know how they're battle tested. They've won the games, yes, but C.J. Stroud, Jarrett Stidham, and Justin Herbert, not exactly a murderer's row.
I'm not talking about their offense. I'm talking about everyone talks about quarterback play as being the most important play to be done. And I think Drake has been battle tested. I'm talking about specifically on the offense. That offense has been battle tested, and he has been battle tested big time.
He's gotten his ass whipped. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
He's gotten beat up.
Yeah, you know what? They can sack him all they want. If he protects that ball, and in good weather, give me good weather with Drake May against Sam Darnold, I'll take that chance. Because Sam Darnold is a joke. That dude is an absolute joke. And that guy, even against that Rams game, he was tippy-tapping back there. His technique is terrible. He doesn't go end over end when he backs up. He just pedals back, and he makes mistakes, and he's going to see ghosts, that guy. He will not beat us. Somebody else might beat us, but he won't beat you.
I mean, we can call Sam Darnold a joke, but back-to-back 14-win seasons on 2 different teams. I mean, I think that's kind of that narrative is kind of disappearing now, because we can say what maybe he's not the reason,
Justin
but
Jefferson and Smith and the Jigba. I mean, come on.
I mean, still to win 14 games and to win I don't think that's ever been done before for a quarterback to change teams and win back-to-back 14-win seasons. So, I mean, I'd have to be hard pressed to think of somebody that had ever done it. But
no, I don't think so either. But I will, and he has improved over the last couple of years. But Minnesota wasn't terrible this year. They had J.J. McCarthy when he was playing pretty well. He did fine. I think Sam Darnold's been lucky enough to be on 2 teams who have a good product around them, and they have a good supporting cast, which is what a guy like Drake needs, and a guy like Bo needs. These younger guys definitely need that. I mean, you put Bo Nix on that Seattle team. Is he going to win 14 games? You're Bo Nix. Does he win it 14 games?
He won 14 games with the subpar receivers you said he had in Denver. So
that's my point. He absolutely 100% would. So I think with a guy like Smith and the Jigba, anybody looks great. With a guy like Justin Jefferson, anyone's going to look pretty good. So, I mean, I think he's a product of that, and kudos for him. Listen, kudos for the guy to be in there.
I don't know. J.J. McCarthy didn't look pretty good.
He looked all right. He looks fine. He was
awful. He was awful. Even when he was healthy, he was awful. Outside of that one game where he had that comeback
9
early in the year, he was terrible this year.
9 is going to come back and play.
Yeah, he was awful this year. God awful.
Also, I'm not a big fan of the guy either. I
think Minnesota's already looking ahead to who they're going to replace him with because
Dude,
he's
Cleveland-
not even serviceable at this
Cleveland
point.
announced they're going to be looking at quarterbacks in the draft. Cleveland, who just had what's his
course.
name announced?
We got 6, so why not 7?
Well, I mean, I just think people once again are underestimating the Pats a little bit because everything gets unraveled and the postseason is a different demon, and the Pats I think are playing a different style, a different game. Now, if they lose and they get smoked, then I guess people are going to say it's all for naught, maybe, but they got there ahead of Josh Allen, ahead of Lamar. And they also got there ahead of a lot of quarterbacks who've been there, Justin Herbert. So they can say what they want. But at the end of the day, getting there is part of the game. And I do think that Bo and Denver can get there too.
I don't care about getting there.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I don't
either.
Like if I get there and we lose, and he never gets back there.
Now.
But wait,
You
no.
say that now,
But
when your
wait.
team's in the Super Bowl, for a team to go in the Super Bowl, I'm not saying getting there is all that it takes.
Hear me
all I'm
out.
saying is being there in the big dance and getting through those challenges and those adversities. It speaks eons of a player and then a team and a coach. And the Bills haven't done that, and Justin Herbert hasn't done that. Lamar hasn't done that, and I think that just speaks dividends of what it is.
Oh yeah,
because
no.
the Buffalo
I think
Bills have the second cheesiest, crappiest strength of schedule in the league.
I just want to say, like, what Drake May's doing. Drake May's going to be the second youngest or the youngest quarterback since Dan Marino to get to a Super Bowl as young as he is.
Right.
And look at Dan Marino. Dan Marino went that young and then never went again. And Dan Marino, if you go back and interview him, Dan Marino said, well, yeah, I lost, but I thought I was going to get back at least a few more times before the end of my career, and he never got back again.
And for all intents and purposes, Dan Marino is the best to ever do it. So.
Dan Marino, you can make an argument as
listen, I'm okay with that. If you tell me that that's what Drake May is going to be, I'll take my chances.
No, I don't want fucking him to turn into Dan Marino.
I mean, if you're gonna talk about Dan Marino as Drake May being like a Dan Marino gets there once young and never goes back, but has his stats he does, he becomes a Hall of Famer. I know people love Dan Marino. I'm not a big fan of the guy, but the guy was incredible when he played. I don't want to be that, but I'm saying if we're gonna make that comparison, I would take that comparison versus being a nobody.
Oh yeah, no, of course I would take that too. But I was like, I still want him to win. I'm like, I'll take Dan Marino. I don't want 17 years of losing. I'm like,
no. But it was
17
a guy
years
that was
of almost. If
Jesus.
Yeah. I don't want
Kevin
that
Rogers all over again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want that either. But if that would have happened with Drake May, well, you can have a worse kind of outcome. I don't know. I saw that Seattle team. I saw a lot of stupid football there too. There's another team, dumbasses. You get the game. The idiot McVay tight pants McGee over there can't control himself. Doesn't want to take the points. Again, let's get it. Let's be aggressive. He doesn't goes on fourth down. Disastrous call. Now they're down by 4 still versus down by 1. And then Seattle takes that drive and they're throwing it as well. What are you doing? It's 4 minutes and 59 seconds. You got a 4-point lead. You got a good running back that's playing well in Walker, and you got this weapon, and you have Sam Darnold throwing the ball because he has 300+ yards against that secondary. That Rams team defensively has had problems back there.
We said all year they have a lot of talent, but they didn't have a
problem.
great unit.
Yeah. They just didn't play well in the second half.
They just never really put it. They never really put it together. But they were good enough to win games, but they weren't. Eventually, it was going to fall on Stafford's shoulders, and he was going to have to do something crazy.
Yeah, and I just think with some of those plays, you have a muff punt. So you want to talk about gifts that the Pats got? They got a gift too. I mean, that muff punt, you just can't do those types of things in those games like that, right? I just think those plays, some of those touchdowns, the guy's wide open. It's just a bad secondary situation. I think the Pats secondary is a little bit stronger than that team, and it might give them some issues. And again, it could be a close game. The Pats could lose. They're already underdogs. It's 4.5 now, right? It might go up a little bit higher. I don't know. But the Pats are getting there, and the way the circumstances went, and how they put all these tough defenses, because if they lose the first round or second round, then they're going to say, well, that's what happened. You guys are fake. Now they're in the Super Bowl. They're still fake. So if they win on Sunday in a couple of weeks and they win it, so what's the narrative going to be? They would have beaten a one defense, a 2 defense, a 6 defense, and a 4 defense. I just think overall, look, the Pats haven't played well offensively. It's a concern for me. I'll be honest.
If the Patriots win, the narrative will be, well, this was the most useless season of all time. No one should have even played. Like,
no one should even
this
play.
This is a bullshit year.
Yeah, and maybe it will be. Look.
Well, I mean, that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of a one game, the NFL. It's a one game shot, and anything can happen. Like you said, I mean, I had a couple people I was talking to today saying like, oh, nobody thought we were going to beat the Rams either, and 2001, and I'm like, yeah, that was a bit different though. That was a lot different, actually.
Well, I mean, was it? I mean,
yeah, because I remember the Rams after that game saying that going into they beat New England in the regular season that year, and they said that was the toughest team that they played all year. Was that Patriots team, and they even said that leading up to the Super Bowl, and they were like, no, that was the toughest game we've played all year, and that was Brady and Belichick. I mean, Belichick, obviously being the straw that started the drink at that point, but Ty Law with the pick six completely changed that game and flipped it on its head.
Yeah, and that could happen again. I mean, that could happen with a Gonzalez or Marcus Jones who has a nose for the ball.
I mean, listen, Sam Darnold's not above it.
Right, and that's my thing, and that's why I was rooting for Seattle, because I want to see if that guy can be a winner, because he's a first timer there, just like obviously Drake May is. And I will be honest with you, if the Rams are there, I'm way more concerned, because that team has won one. They know what it takes, and they've been there, and they know what the handles have to be. And this would have been McVay's third one. That's a very different narrative than a Seattle team with a whole new thing, no more Legion of Doom, good defense, but not a defense that that doesn't give a lot of points, and they're great in the red zone. And maybe that's what's going to make them win it, is them keeping the low. But they gave up 27 points against a really good team prior. They played against a San Francisco team that is anemic as well offensively. Poor things. They can't really get themselves out of their asses. They're horrible. Horrendous.
I mean, they weren't horrendous. They were just beat
up. Exactly. And I'm not a huge San Francisco fan, but I respect what they are as a franchise. I kind of feel bad for them.
I did. I'm a huge. I mean, they're basically Denver West, so I root for them low key pretty much every week.
I do. I don't dislike them. I was a big Montana fan as a kid, so I mean, I would be lying to you if I didn't agree with that. So
I was named after Joe Montana, so I would be lying if I said I wasn't a fan.
There you go. But I just hope that it's a decent game. What I want to see, honestly, is Drake get back to that offense when he was throwing for 275, 280, maybe one pick, and stepping into his throws, stepping into the pocket, and making good passes, and maybe a Diggs and a Booty Stump making a couple more catches. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I really don't want to see 101 yards throwing, because I think you can throw the ball a lot better than that. And if their offense becomes, if the Pats offense becomes, as I've been using, anemic and terrible and weak and not really producing, then they might not make it. But that running game has been doing okay, and I think Trevon Henderson and Stevenson are two-headed monsters that are a problem. They're a better running back core than that Seattle team without Charbonnet. We
didn't even use Henderson on fucking Sunday. He barely even saw the field.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was kind of stupid. I thought the kid doesn't fumble. He's a tough kid.
And I think Ramondre averaged 2.1 yards per carry. Like he was pretty much non-existent.
No, Ramondre in the beginning of the game couldn't go anywhere. But at the end of the game, he was just like running for like 8 yards a clip at the end.
I still think his average was miserable though.
Hold on, I'll look it up.
It wasn't great overall, but the thing is, once again, they had him to thought a drive in that third quarter, and that was the difference. And that was coaching and execution when it mattered. They have the flea flicker, they're running the ball, they're pounding it down. Now the air,
Yeah, 2-8. You're right.
It's a long time to have any defense out there, especially in that elevation, no doubt about it. And there was a little bit of fatigue in that Denver team. And then the 3 and outs, that's kind of what you want as a defense, is get out of there quickly. That's why I liked how the Pats started the game. But then the Pats went out there, and the Denver defense did exactly the same. And the thing that's impressive about that Denver D is they don't really blitz a ton, but man, their front four gets to it, man. They really get to it without.
They're good pressuring front. Yeah,
I think we actually blitzed more than anybody in the league this year, but
were they blitzing more than everybody?
I think we blitzed like 35% of the time.
Really?
Were
you saying in this game, or you were saying in general?
I'm saying
this game they didn't have to.
Yeah, in this game, I was just impressed by their front seven. I guess is what I'm saying. I mean, they had their.
Well, yeah, the front seven. I mean, there's a reason why they've led the league. They've led the league in sacks back-to-back years, and they almost broke the record for it this year. So
this year, yeah.
I think they actually came up. I think they came up 1 sack short of tying the all-time record for regular and postseason.
Right. So you think with Pats have no chance of winning this game, Joe? Seriously.
I'm going to say less. I'm not going to say no chance, because there's nothing's ever zero.
Zero. Yeah.
But I'm going to say I'm going like 75-25 Seattle.
Yeah. Okay. And what do you think the score would be? Would you think it'd be like a blowout, like a 2-3 possession kind of situation?
34-17 is probably going to be my final, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
I think Seattle's defense gets a score in this one. That's why I think that'll be kind of that'll be the turning point.
Well, I do like the fact that the Pats will at least play, and both teams, I guess, will play at least in conditions that have been a lot more suitable than what it's been happening the last few weeks. And maybe that helps the team, maybe it doesn't. In the coaching situation, we'll see it what the coaching situation is between Vrabel and that guy. I don't think that'll be that much of a blow. If the Pats get up 34 points, then that defense obviously something must have been really confusing them for that guy to put up 34 points and that team to put up 34 points because they have Najibbu's fantastic, and Walker's a good running back, but he's tiny, and I think you can wrap him up pretty good. He's like a little bit like R.J. Harvey, I think.
Walker's very good. I think you're undervaluing Walker. Walker has been sneaky. A very underappreciated running back in the NFL this season. He has been one of those guys that has been able to do it in between the tackles and been able to bounce it outside. And he was someone you never would have thought of before the season being like, hey, give me your top 5 running backs that you would have at the end of this year. And he has been consistently dominating in every single category while not having a very good offensive line. He's had a mid-offensive line. And you also have to realize he has fucking Sam Darnold as his cornerback. I know we shit on Sam Darnold all the time, and he had a good year for Seattle, but Kenneth Walker was a main reason of why the offense works a lot of the time. Kenneth Walker against San Francisco 49ers in the playoffs had 3 touchdowns by himself, and nobody seems to remember that. I mean, Kenneth Walker is no joke. He's the real deal.
Listen, who's played a major part?
I know about Kenneth Walker. I had him in my fantasy. I watch him all the time. I just think he's a little inconsistent. But maybe he won't be because Charbonnet's not there. He's a guy that's not going to run the rock constantly. He's not built that way. You can wrap that guy up. You can wrap him up, is what I'm saying. I don't think he's that big, and I don't know if his vision is always the best. I think he's excellent open space, and if the Pats can close up those rushing lanes, and the Pats have a very good run defense, I think he might have some issues. That's all. But I love the guy. I just don't think he's going to be able to do a ton against that defense and against that front 4. That's just my opinion.
Fair enough.
I think it's going to have to go a different direction. That's all. I love the guy. I do. I'm not shitting on the guy. I didn't mean to do that. If I came across him, that's not what I meant. Because I've been watching him.
I think he gets very underappreciated in general.
That is true. He gets undervalued, no doubt, because of Charbonnet and the way they run it. But he is a very good player. But I just don't know with that kind of workload, if they're going to work him a lot. I just don't know. I mean, he got wrapped up a few times where he didn't have any place to go against that, that Rams front 7. And I think with them having a bye, we're going off the one game that they blew a team out that was been broken, and then they played a very tough, good game that really could have gone either way against the Rams. So we only seen 2 weeks of them because they deserved it, and rightfully so, of getting the bye week.
That's cool. But Joe, you were going to say something really quickly there, and you.
No, I'm just looking at at Walker's numbers here. I mean, 200
yards, probably 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, something like that.
Yeah, he had 1,000 yards on 221 carries, which is pretty fucking good. I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad. But the biggest thing for me was his yards after contact, which was 406. So that's a pretty, almost 50%, 40% of your yards coming after contact is a pretty damn good, good chunk.
Well, you can't. You got to wrap him up. You can't just put your shoulder down and hit him because he'll bounce off you. And I think that's been a problem just on defense. I hate guys who don't wrap up. They want to go with their shoulder. That does nothing. You use your arms and you wrap a guy up, and you stop his momentum that way. And I think that's just been a problem with tackling in general. So if the Pats want to play that way and put their shoulder down, they're going to have problems. But if they try to wrap the guy around and you actually get physically wrapped around and stop him, then you can slow him down. I'm just saying, don't let that guy beat you. Is what I'm saying. Don't let the running game beat you.
Right.
And just put it in Sam Darnold's arms and hands and legs and decision making and seeing if he can beat you with that, because I trust my guy over Sam Darnold.
I mean, that's fair enough. I mean, I get it. But again, I just think we're glossing over. I think we're dismissing a little dismissive of Sam Darnold. Like I said, it's back-to-back 14-win seasons with 2 different teams. That is not anything I can recall being done before. And the fact that he's in a Super Bowl right now.
Did Tom Brady do it?
Back-to-back well, it's not with 2 different teams, no, because he won 12 games his last year with New England.
I'm saying, 12, okay.
Because they started 8-0 and then they finished 4-4 and got
4-4.
bounced in the.
Gotcha.
Don't remind me. Who did he lose to?
Mike Vrabel. Tennessee Titans. Logan Ryan that took
Logan Ryan.
His last completion was a Logan Ryan
pass. Yep, it's the worst thing ever. And I think he's
I
like
love
when
it,
he's going. Oh, of course.
Logan Ryan has that ball, and he had Brady sign it for him as a last Patriot pass.
It's kind of
No, seriously.
I mean,
because they
that's
were
kinda cool.
because no, they were
Kinda cool.
teammates.
Brady's,
and,
yeah,
outside at the same time.
Brady's a good enough sport about it at this point.
But Brady's very intelligent with like his sports memorabilia now.
Yeah.
Ever since he does that like that Tom Brady card vault shit he has.
Yep.
He's very in tune with like, oh, I wore these cleats this season because I knew I only wore this type of brand at this season. And he goes, this must have been from this game. And I'm like, what the fuck, Tom? And he's like very like in tune now. So he's very much on brand with like knowing how much his value and his stuff
Yeah.
is worth. And then he does two different signatures. We have done the signature talk. He has a Tornado Tom signature, and then he has a regular Tom Brady signature.
No. I don't
Tornado
Yeah.
Tom signature is like a bullshit, looks like dog shit signature, and then he has the T like BY
the
thing.
one that I've seen a million times.
Yeah. But the Tornado Tom signature now is like if you bother him like while he's out in public with like his like kids and stuff like that, he goes like the twisty circles and shit like that.
Right. Yeah, makes sense.
I haven't seen the new one. I've only seen the one that he has.
If you Google Tornado Tom signature, you'll see it. It's people just
No
basically
shit.
being like, "Yo, what the fuck is this, dude?" And it's basically like people that like chase him down at like restaurants and hotels and airports.
It's his low key way of telling you to
you.
go fuck off.
Yeah.
You know, because
without doing it.
Yeah.
Well, look, I guess what I'm saying is that on the Super Bowl, I just want the Pats to play when they were playing their good football, where they were putting up points. And they were stopping the run and allowing a runner to go less than 50 yards, which is probably going to be hard to do. I just want it to be more of a game where the strengths of both teams come out and see how it shakes out. But if it's a blowout and Drake makes a ton of mistakes, then they deserve to lose.
Nelson,
You know?
I'll tell you this: before the game on Sunday, Mac Hollins walked in. And he was clanging the three bottles together, and he was saying "Warriors." And the immediate thing that pissed me off is, I was like, he didn't finish this movie, did he? Because it doesn't end well for the guys that were chasing the Warriors. Like, the whole thing was, those guys were brutally killed. Like, those guys were the ones that didn't work out for them.
there's a little foreshadowing.
So I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you want to show up dressed as the Warriors, like, and be as the Road Warriors. He tried to do that, but I think he fucked up, and he was like, oh, look, we're the guys chasing the Warriors. No, he was wrong. They need to do something where they need to have like that 2007 Giants mentality where they're going in, they're just all in black, no one thinks they can beat them, or they're going in with like the mentality of like everyone hates us, and they need to take in the super underdog effect and go with that.
Which is true, which is factual. I think
It
that
is
is a good
factual.
approach because that's exactly what they should be, the underdogs technically, because that Seattle team offensively is certainly shows that it's more potent, in some of those positions. And I think that's what they should be driving on. And I think they should probably pull out the trigger of what Bill did in giving them what the parade route's going to be when Seattle wins, when they did it in 2004 against Philly. If anybody wanted to go, it's one of the most fascinating things that Bill had done at that time. Which tell the guys, listen, if you want to go see the parade when they win the Super Bowl, this is the route it's going to go if you're interested. And I think those mental games for a young team, I think, is what they need. I think coaches are going to be critical. I think their health needs to be critical. I think Will Campbell needs to fix that ankle because he's definitely not right. Something's not right. I know the guy
It's his knee.
Oh, it's his knee.
It's
Okay,
his knee.
It's
It's an MCL tear.
I thought it was his pivot ankle there on his right side when he's coming in and getting beat on the outside, and he's trying to pivot inside to kind of get leverage. But he's not right. Obviously, something's not right with him. I think he came back a little early, and he definitely has had problems there, and that could be a problem. I mean, that certainly could be a problem, and they've played against some contested defenders and on the edge, and maybe this 2-week thing can help them. But they certainly got to keep Drake a little more comfortable, and Drake's got to be better with the ball. He didn't have any turnovers here, but he didn't really have to throw a ton because of the circumstances. So I'm just looking for the Pats to play their game, and I think if they play their game when they've played well, I think they got a chance. But if they go in there and they start turning the ball over multiple times, then they deserve to lose.
Yep. I mean, that's what's going to happen too. So.
Yeah.
I mean, if they turn the ball over, they're going to lose. That's
They're gonna lose, 100%.
that's what Seattle's done all playoffs and all season long. So,
Yeah,
But
and if that happens to them and they don't control that, or if the Pats defense doesn't get it back for them and it becomes a turnover battle to see who wins a plus minus in the turnover, then the Pats will deserve to lose, and then the weaknesses that they had in the playoffs will it's likely head for sure. I'm still proud of the team what it's done. No one in their planet in the right mind would have thought this would have gone this way. I would have been
God,
happy.
no.
No way. And listen, I won my bet of giving them 8.5 wins. I won my bet in picking them to be AFC champions. I was kind of, I think, buzzed when I did it. It was like week 5. Let me put this in. $10 got me $220, whatever.
wow, that's it. I would have thought that would have been more in week 5.
Yeah,
especially after coming out. Because what were they, like 2-2 at that point? Like
3 and 2.
Yeah,
because they'd already lost the Raiders and the Steelers.
Yeah, and I was like, screw it, we'll do this. It might have been week 6, I don't remember, but it was kind of early in the season, and it kind of paid out in that regard. So they've gone as far as, more so than anybody thought was going to happen. And it's a good point you brought up, Ben, that, you don't want to be at the arena. I know it's kind of busting balls about it, but the reality is you want to have a chance to go there and just not go there when you're at 23 and never go back again. I don't think you want to do that. But if you were to do it, I guess, then, I guess it's to say that, Drake wanted to be a pretty good player, if he wants to be an a la Dan Marino, but when he's done statistically. But obviously winning championships is what matters, and no one knows about second place unless you're the Bills, and everybody knows that you lost 4 in a row. But I don't know, man. There's something about that Seattle team and Sam Darnold. I don't know. I just think that the lights are going to be as big for them as it is for the Pats, and why wouldn't be? You're in a neutral turf. The Pats are going to be on the road again. I don't know. I think there's just some intangible things that might make them stay in that game a little bit. But if he comes out and he's throwing the ball low and he's rushing his timing and he's not stepping into his throws, or he's holding the ball too long, or he's not being comfortable with the ball, then if Drake has a long night, then it's going to be a long night for the Pats, and that just winds up being it. And then I guess Seattle gets their second Super Bowl. I don't know.
Agreed. But Nelson, thanks for the call, man.
Hey,
we'll
man,
be here next week to do a full preview of the game.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
Sure, we'll hear from you.
Listen, your Denver team had a tremendous year. There's no question about it.
No, it was a good year. It was just a bad hit at the end to lose our quarterback.
And I think that's why I hate the situation. Just not to wrap it up, real quick. I just hated the fact that game should have been won in regulation. I just felt like it's like, damn it, that game shouldn't have
been. Or
if they,
if they call the holding in the end zone, on the Bills in overtime, game's over right there.
The game's over right there. Exactly. Yep. And I just wanted to see. I wanted to see Bo healthy, and I think if Bo stays healthy, that game probably goes much different for sure. I like Bo, I like his play. I just wish he just maybe does things a little bit differently. But if it's working for him, hey, you do it until it doesn't work, right? And hopefully next year will be another year for him too. And I think they're going to come back just as strong. That Denver team isn't going anywhere. So
nope, I don't think so either. So thanks, Nelson. We appreciate it, bud.
Thanks, guys.
We'll talk to you next week.
Nelson, thanks, buddy.
Thanks. All right.
Joey Fats Radio, row 1, seat 1, 774-992-8702 is the phone number if you want to give us a call. Lot there to unpack, a lot there to digest, but, going back because he was kind of covering, he didn't call last week, covered a little bit from the divisional round as well. But, Sean, looking forward to, we already kind of covered the NFC Championship again in that with Nelson there. Looking for the NFC Championship. And Nelson brought it up, about these teams, Sean McVay and not taking the points, and Sean Payton not taking the points.
It was surprising with Sean McVay not taking the points, though.
Is it though?
Because he's a point goblin.
But the thing is with him, though, is he is one of those new age statisticians.
He is,
and he's won a Super Bowl doing that, and he's won a Super Bowl gambling, and I think that's kind of like and Sean Payton did the same thing. Sean Payton's done it his whole career. Where guys like that, Mike Shanahan used to do that all the time. We used to call him the Riverboat Gambler.
Yep.
Out in Denver, he would roll the dice on those fourth downs way more than a lot of other people would. And I don't have a problem doing it. It's just it's got to be strategic. You can't be like Dan Campbell where it's 4th and 8 and you're going for it. No, 4th and 1. All right, cool. That's a pretty high. You got a pretty high percentage play, whatever. In my opinion, I mean, obviously we have the benefit of hindsight. I think you go up 10-0 there, and you live to see another day. You live to fight another down. But I also understand that Sean Payton probably knew that, like, we've got the momentum. If we can get this 1 yard and get in the end zone, game's probably over. So I understand it. I see it both ways. Now with McVay and the Rams, again, I mean, cutting that lead down to 1, and then you're giving the ball back to the Seahawks with 4 or 5 minutes to go, whatever it was. I don't know that I still think I go for it because a 1-point deficit, unless you stop them and get the ball back clean with no points on the board, even if you give up a field goal, you're still right back to being down 4.
Yeah.
So I kind of don't mind the idea of going for it there and trying to get the lead and go up by 3. You know, force them to go down, kick a field goal, and tie it. I think they ended up going down and scoring anyway or whatever. I forget exactly how it went down, but it didn't work. It didn't work out for the Rams, and that's okay. But I don't think that 4th down call was really like that was the turning point of the game. That was where they lost it. You know, I think they lost it because they couldn't stop Seattle's offense. That's
exactly what it was.
And not for nothing, but so far in these playoffs, nobody's been able to stop Seattle's offense. So, I mean, it is what it is. It does suck, you know, for the Rams, because I was really hoping for Stafford to get a second ring and kind of cement his Hall of Fame legacy. Which, I mean, at this point now, does it really matter? Are we even really concerned with such things? But
I mean, was he not a Hall of Famer before this?
Yes, of course he was. I mean, not according to Stephen A. Smith, or no,
Dan Orlovsky.
No, who was it that said that he needs a Super Bowl to cement his status? One of the talking heads. It was either Stephen A. or Ryan Clark or one of them.
It was probably Stephen A.
Or was it
Smith.
Cam Newton? I forget. I think it was Stephen A. You know, Stephen A., the one that was talking about the brother.
Oh, yeah. Had no idea that Terrell has not been on the sideline since week 1 because he's dealing with literal cancer.
Yeah.
It's been Zach Kerr the entire year. He goes, can we shout out this brother? And Zach Kerr, the white guy, is like this. Like the white kid meme.
Me?
He's like, I'm a brother?
That was hilarious. But that just goes to show you that these people that get paid millions of dollars to talk on TV have no fucking idea what they're talking about half the time. Which is why you should listen to us instead.
He just Googled it, and he's like, oh, my God, he's black?
Yeah. They're like, somebody told me he was black. And it's like, yeah, but he hasn't fucking coached since week 1. He's been out with cancer. Like, give me a break.
They literally wear on their coach's vest every week, like Terrell Strong.
And then he tries to defend it by saying, like, oh, nice try to play gotcha games, but he still has input, and he still talks to the players and the coaches. And has input.
No, he doesn't.
Like, first of all,
he doesn't.
There is no possible way for you to know that.
It's not true.
And second of all, it's not true.
It's 100% not true.
People in New England were like, that's not true.
He hasn't actually communicated with them since, I think, October.
Was it Tommy Curran, or was it, I forget who it was, what came out and was just like, that's not true.
He is like very badly, he was dealing with like some severe chemo, and he was at home. He was actually on the verge of dying. No bullshit. Like, this is not like a joke, where that's how severe his cancer was. And they were like, he was very, very dangerous cancer. And the recovery is very, very intensive. He wasn't dealing with it all. They were going to him to go visit him.
Mm-hmm.
He was not coming to them. He wasn't calling it being like, run a cover 3.
Right.
No, he was fucking trying to stay alive.
With cancer. Yeah, there was a big difference. So, but it's just funny because you get guys like Stephen A. Smith that stick their foot in their mouths like that all the time, and they never get called out for it because
he's calling from a hospital bed, being like, zone.
Why didn't you run a zone blitz on that 3rd down when they showed that personnel? Like, no, shut up. That's not how this works. But, to a couple of other Nelson's points too. I think this is going to be. Again, I think this is already becoming a theme amongst Patriots Nation here going into the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
As they're sitting there going, like, they're licking their chops going, oh, we got Sam Darnold.
It's New York Jets Sam Darnold.
And I'm like,
they haven't seen him.
Yeah, I'm like, dog, this ain't the New York Jets Sam Darnold. This Sam Darnold is a much different Sam Darnold than what you have.
It's Quint Kubiak Sam Darnold.
That Seattle offense is much different than any offense that you've seen in the last 3 games in these playoffs. Now, one thing I will say that may benefit the Patriots and Drake May specifically, the weather should be nice for the first time in a month for a game for Drake May.
Which is beneficial to the Patriots. Yes.
Which is beneficial because Drake May has had a terribly hard time holding on to the ball in cold weather. And, not for nothing, but that could play a factor. So, you get good weather out there in San Francisco, great. I mean, I don't know that it, I don't think it helps, your left tackle. I don't know that it helps your receivers get open any more than whatever, but maybe it helps Drake May deliver a couple of better footballs, down the field. But at the end of the day, and we'll talk more about it next week, Sean, because we can probably wrap this one up here pretty quick. Make this a kind of a quick show. I just think we'll like I said, we'll discuss the matchups more specifically next week. But you've got a guy that you got an offensive line that's given up 15 sacks in 3 games. If you don't think the number 1 defense in the league in Seattle is looking at that and licking their chops, saying like, "Oh yeah, we're going to get to this kid, and we're going to rattle his cage," because, like you said, yeah, hey, it's great to be in the Super Bowl in your second year, and that's all fine and well. I mean, hey, listen, it didn't rattle Brady when he got to that, when he had that opportunity
in his second year.
Like, it's been done before. Not often, but it's been done.
Mahomes' second year.
Guys have had success. Yeah, guys have had success.
Marino's second year.
So, it's not all hope is lost, but I just think when you look at the matchups on paper here, like I said, it's hard for me to conjure up a way the New England Patriots come away with a win in this game. I feel like Seattle's gonna do their thing defensively, and I think that's gonna take a shit ton of pressure off of Sam Darnold. And once that pressure comes off of Sam Darnold and he has to just kind of kick back and just not lose them the game,
yeah,
I think that benefits them tremendously, and I think that's where the difference is going to be. So, I mean, that's just my early analysis of it. Like I said, I'm going to watch the NFC Championship game again. I'm going to go back and watch some more Seattle games from earlier in the year. And just try to get an idea on what to look for. But
that game was
if I'm being dead ass,
that was a good game. I'm not gonna lie. That NFC Championship game was a good
great game. It was the antithesis of what the AFC Championship game was.
It was the complete opposite. I mean, for us to come down after that game was like, I really don't give a shit, because after what I just witnessed, it was just like whatever. But if you go back and you watch that game, it was like a back and forth. It was like, all right, if there was one drive of not scoring, it was like, oh shit, like this other team is probably going to score, then they're really going to go ahead, and then it became a legitimate chess match. And then that final drive to get into it really quickly, where the Rams had no timeouts, and then when Puka caught that final ball, again, common theme here for the Rams, I thought Puka was out of bounds. He caught the ball, and he jumped out of bounds, and they were like, why? And it ended the clock right there for them.
I thought he should have been out of bounds, too.
He was out of bounds. And
I don't know what that was all about.
All the players ran on the field. Sean McVay stood in the sideline, and he contested. He was like, he jumped out, run the play clock under 2 minutes. You have to review it. And the referees were like, game. And they walked off the field. And I was like, that's so fucked up.
That was a little fucked up. I didn't agree with that sequence of events to end that game, but I mean, again, I think it was Seattle's game to lose at that point, regardless. I don't think LA was actually gonna. I didn't know if they were actually gonna pull it off or not, but they should have.
They needed 4 points at that point, right?
Yeah, they needed. They should have had at least one more opportunity to throw one in the end zone, but
with Puka, you never know.
You really don't. You really don't, dude. And again, like, it's just the opportunity. As a player, all you want is the opportunity, and they didn't afford them that. So, kind of a shitty ending, but good game, like you said. But I think this one, when you just look at the Patriots and you look at the Seahawks, like, yes, they're both 14-win teams, but the Seahawks are coming from a absolute beast of a division, whereas the Patriots came from a division that was mostly dog shit.
It was
they played a schedule that was mostly dog shit, and the Seattle Seahawks have played pretty much a murderer's row of teams all year. So I think this is kind of one of those, like, yeah, they got the same record. They're statistically similar. I think the Seattle Seahawks are head and shoulders better than the Patriots. Not to say the better team can't lose. I mean, we saw the better team lose on Sunday in Denver, but it is what it is. So we'll do a full analysis of it next week, and we'll get some good bets, some parlays in, and we'll get set up for the Super Bowl.
Definitely next week's going to be the Super Bowl setup week. Also, it's going to be more to come with this Belichick news of what the fuck fallout's going to happen with this. Are we actually going to get the voters who didn't vote for Belichick? Are we going to hear more about it?
I hope so, because like I said earlier in the show, I want some heads to roll.
And then what else are we going to hear? Like, what's going to happen between now and then? The coaching carousel. Is anybody going to take the Cleveland job? It feels like nobody wants to work there.
The Raiders job?
Nobody wants to work with the Raiders either.
Nope. So
It just feels like the NFL has become just coaches are now picking and choosing their spots, and they're just like, I'm gonna pass.
yeah,
Especially coaches who are first time. Udinsky, who was like never been a head coach before, told the Cleveland Browns, I'm gonna hold off.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather not be a coach.
I just you know what I'm not.
They're
gonna
like,
do that.
you've never been a coach before. He's like, I'd rather not start here.
Right. I'd rather not start with both hands tied to my feet, with a cinder block around my neck, and being pushed off the side of Niagara Falls. Thank you very much. But we'll leave it there for tonight. Thank you for everybody who listened in. Thank you to everybody who called in. We appreciate you. Make sure you like and share. This show will be up on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast here within a few minutes after the show being done. So if you missed any of it and you want to go back and listen, by all means, you'll have that opportunity. But again, please like and share. Support our sponsor, the Village Sweet Shop, 300 Elm Street, South Dartmouth, Mass, Paid Aaron Village, right on the corner of Bridge and Elm. Valentine's Day is coming up. Don't forget to get your candy and your chocolates. They have everything in there from penny candy to deluxe fudge chocolate, whatever you can think of, they got it. So we appreciate y'all. Enjoy the first football this weekend since September. Ugh.
Awful.
Kind of hurts to say that, but enjoy having a Sunday to yourselves. We got one game left, and we'll be all over it next Tuesday night right here on Row 1, Seat 1 on the one, the only, the New Bedford Guide. For Mr. Betancourt and Plizzy, who couldn't be here tonight. Again, I am Joey Fats, and we will see you next week. Peace.
Adios, guys.
It's